103.
The third.
The third. Tattooed mine the third. Always has a nice ring to it. Something wriggle.
I don't know. I don't know if we. I don't know if I want to associate myself with
Nah,
all
not
the
really.
nonsense that goes on there, right?
Royal.
Both.
Royal of fuck all.
Yeah, we're both bastard children of said empire, though.
Well, we are still the bastard children of said empire. We are still a Commonwealth country.
Yeah, she's got you on. Still on the money, man. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'm going to start this off with a freshie.
Ooh.
Get the
All
flower
right.
happener to start with. I like to start. And so, all right. Once again, this is morning for me. So good morning, everybody.
Yeah. Good morning. It's 9:30.
It's
Yeah.
yeah. It's nighttime for David. So I like to start the day with some flour, and then we'll work our way through to some.
I did that already.
Dabbage.
I'm gonna
The old devil's cabbage. Cheers, bro.
cheers. Cheers.
Like a boss.
Bombers.
I noticed one thing while I was over there. We smoke quite different to you, hey? The way we smoke flour. We have a whole bowl in one every time.
Well, yeah, I'm. So
You guys are polite. You guys like pass it around, burn a little edge. It got him. Dab one.
good shit, man. No, I get that shit. I mean, we used to amongst closer friends, we would just snap. You know, you'd snap a whole bowl, or as you guys say, a cone.
Snap, I like that.
We just snap. Well, because if you were good and you had a big piece with an ash catcher,
Oh yeah.
you could light it and snap the whole bowl in one lung.
Mhm.
You know, get your shit in and then pass it around. That's also
Gross.
if you're living rich with the weed.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
If
Yeah,
you've been trading shit with a grower or
Mhm.
something.
Oh, yeah.
Who knows?
That's some of the benefits of tattooing, huh? I love trading. I love trading stuff for tattoos.
Firearms, equipment, all kinds of shit.
Coming from an American, I've never got a firearm for a tattoo.
Well, it would be totally illegal where you're at. For me, it's completely legal.
Yeah. What have I gotten? I got a guitar, a car. I traded for a cool old ute. That was pretty cool. That's the best trade I've done.
That's fucking dope.
Yeah. And then I was all about it. Then I was like, oh my God, you can trade for shit time for time. It works well, huh?
It almost feels less dirty, right?
It does. Well, you spend money.
Mm-hmm.
You don't spend something that you get given. So you're like, oh, yeah,
No.
I got this.
It's like I don't even have to claim this on my taxes if I was going to be honest.
Taxes.
Yeah.
Dirty
exactly.
word. What a dirty
Yeah,
fucking word. Every tattooist out there right now is like, shut the fuck up.
You shut your goddamn mouth, hippie.
We'll do an episode on that one day. The day that Sam does his
Yep. So I guess since we're gonna ramble, the little poster in the background kind of tells everybody what the podcast is going to be about. We're going to talk about like movies and pop culture and TV and influence and tattooing. Get a little tattoo nerdy and kind of go from there. I think you
definitely see a lot of in our world, hey?
Fuck yeah, I know about things about like the way things look in tattooing just because I've been exposed to them that way that I would never be into. Ever.
I know shit about movies that I would never fucking know about because I've sat there and done a movie tattoo for someone. When someone loves something enough to get it tattooed, they know some shit about it generally. So
yes, sir. Well, on the flip side of that, like I've been introduced to some cool shit too. Like it's the other side of that double-edged sword.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. So what's your favorite movie tattoo you've done?
My favorite movie tattoo? Damn, I should have had this shit set up and ready. I'm unprepared.
Nah, that's why we're gonna fuck with each other.
I mean, I've done some really cool Star Wars tattoos.
Yeah.
I enjoy doing a lot of stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did maybe outside of movies. I did a pretty cool Breaking Bad Walter White tattoo.
Sick.
Pretty cool.
Good
I like
series.
that shit.
Very good
I like
series.
that shit.
That was one that kept going. That got me hooked.
I did do a dark crystal tattoo. Speaking of the tattoo that we were just talking about earlier, like in 2011, 2010.
Nice. That was my week. That was my my last day of work. Just gone. My dark crystal tattoo that I did. That was fun. Bit of skexy action. Bit of color, which is different for me.
Still sexy with the texture, though.
Thank you. That's how I get down. It makes the color fun for me. Round sexy shaders,
with the texture.
Round shaders and little mags.
Write that shit down for you fuckers.
Exactly right. Yeah.
Little mags like 7s or as small as a 5.
Man, I even went to the 5 this time. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Those things pack. They pack a lot. So 7 was my favorite for a long time. And then I was like, no, you know what? What did I get yesterday? I went 5 round shader, 5 mag, 11 mag, and then some like bigger areas with the 17, but I think I hit that once. And every time I go pick up a massive mag for color, it just doesn't work the way I tattoo. Yeah. So nah, those little ones, man. And then, that's how I get some of those textures and details and stuff. And I've been sitting there watching people like Steve Butcher and Ben Lucas, Lucas. And yeah, man, they're round shaders. They're the killer. When I first started with them, I was like, I hate these things, but you get used to them.
No, man, I fell back in love with round shaders. I'm using them now to do some really, really bold outlining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Majority
of the time. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice for that. If you really want to put down something really solid in an area, a nice round shader, but and using them for color for sure. For color and small mags, I like the small mags a lot. 7 mags, even some 5 mags. Can't really get those in a curve, so it's just going to be a straight.
I actually used a curve 5 mag yesterday. It was one of the first times I was rocking on the metrics needles, and that's kind of why I used it. I looked at it and I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't even realize I had this thing, and I was like, "Let's give it a crack." Man, what I would have done with the round shader, I did quite a bit with that, so it was very beneficial. But man, my brain can't leave like Steve Butcher stuff. Did you see? Like, I don't know, what was the last one he did? The Mayweather with the money. The epitome of someone using round shaders. That stuff is like amazing.
But it's necessary. Like, you want that kind of saturation, that shit that's gonna last. That's what it looks like. Like, it just, and his shit is. I mean, it's hard to use him as an example because his shit's on just such another level.
And you've got to put into. I think the last one he actually posted how long it took him, like dedicating. I think it was like 19 hours to a tattoo like that. And I'm not sure how that was done, whether that was over 2 days or whatever. But having patience and sitting there for that on both sides of it, tattooing and getting tattooed. That's an effort.
I think that there is something to be said about the application of the tattoo and allowing for a sit that long. It's like you do end up learning how to be more gentle, looking at your technique. I mean, like we talked about last time, like rotaries being not as loud, that is a placebo, but there is something to treating a tattoo in a certain way because you're in for the long haul and trying to be a little bit more gentle, especially with the wiping and just being aggressive overall. You got to get shit done, of course, but there are certain things to where
got to be aware.
Some people are overzealous in certain areas.
I love watching some people wipe.
Ooh. I worked on a back piece with 5 other people, and I was like, "Hey, you guys can't wipe like that because other people are trying to tattoo too, man."
Oh, bro, I've had the exact same thing a couple of times. Like, it's interesting to see who you can work with after doing something so big, and then you end up through the day deciding, all right, I'm going to work when this is happening and when this person's doing this, and then you're like, all right, waiting for someone to wipe, get you a little bit done. Okay, they're going to wipe again. And go.
Yeah.
I mean,
people slap that shit.
Oh man, bad. I love the ones at the end of the tattoo when they're trying to get a photo and they're just like assessing how they've done for the day. And it's just this constant
like
you're like, yeah, okay.
You're like a cat. You're just batting at this tattoo.
Twine, just come here. It's funny. And the client
that shit
by that point is pretty happy with their tattoo, so they're not really saying much, but just the cringe. It's brilliant.
Good shit though.
Yeah. Well, all right, back to the movies.
Yeah, I mean, what a TV movie influences. I mean, that's pretty obvious. A lot of it in tattooing is, I think it's kind of amazing when people will dedicate a portion of their body to get something tattoo or show or TV related. You've got something interesting on you from a show.
I got you. Well, yeah, true. Yeah, I realize which one you're talking about. Funny, I wore shorts today too, so you can probably even see it. Giorgio, that's got to be the one you're talking about, right? You see?
Okay.
There you go. So that's literally, this is my movie leg. So I had Giorgio, and then HR Giga, and then my Xenomorph, and a bit of District 9, and a few other.
Yeah, look at all that.
I never really thought I would be one to do movies and portraits and things like that. But then as I got older, a bit more influence and stuff I like. And, how could you not get Giorgio to start with? If you haven't seen Ancient Aliens, everyone go do yourself a favor and watch that shit.
Speaking of Ancient Aliens, I watched the
everything with a pinch of
yesterday.
Salt,
yeah. I watched a documentary yesterday called Australian.
Oh, I've seen that shit. Yeah, I've seen that shit on
Australian skies. Yeah, I watched it last night. Fucking crazy shit. You see little lights in the sky? You should go visit this guy.
Oh, bad, man. I wish I'd watched that more recently and knew his name and all that sort of stuff. But he had do you remember how many cases he had actually seen?
How many were documented?
Something like that, yeah.
It's like a huge stack. Like a gigantic amount, like hundreds or some shit like that. And like other people will come hang out with him and they'll also see them and they're like, what the fuck is going on? He's like, yeah. And I was like, damn, they're like really just taking people out there and then showing these crazy little UFOs. Well, Australia, man.
From my knowledge, without actually looking into it, I've been told that we have like one of the highest rates of UFO sightings in the world. Like, we're a massive country with a whole lot of fuck all in the middle of it. We've got areas near Western Australia they call like Area 52 because we've got like testing areas for military, like stuff like that. And yeah, man, I've even seen some pretty cool shit driving across that Nullarbor from Western Australia to Melbourne. It's a big old trek. I've seen a couple of UFOs. We can do that one another day. I'll save that for y'all.
I want to go hunt UFOs in Australia.
Do it. Come do it. And there's another one near, what is it? Seduna, which is like South Australia. There's a lot of sightings out that way. I'm not sure where that guy was from exactly, but yeah, we got our shit out here. It's cool. I'd like to go to Roswell.
Yeah. Well, Roswell's cool. It's kind of kitschy now.
Yeah, I know, but that's
kind of like overblown, but it's pretty fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess so. You're right.
Yeah, for me anyway. For coming from like Australia to over see that shit, man, we just see that on TV. It'd be cool as fuck. Area 51.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think there's like an interesting touch on like technology and stuff like that that's becoming real because of all of the aliens and the movies and all of that stuff. Like a lot of the stuff that we saw in Star Trek and Star Wars is like almost a real thing now. Holograms and
how cool is that shit? What is it? What is the one they reckon's getting the closest? Minority Report was like a fair few years ago. We pretty much hit that level of technology where we're like
with the hands and the screens and the augmented reality.
Yeah, they reckon with the VR, it's like so close, only a couple of years away with that sort of shit. And even just the screens is everything these days. It's an interesting concept of what comes first, especially with sci-fi, as to does technology come from science fiction movies, or is it vice versa? We see something that we've created that it just seems crazy concept, and then later on we're like, well, we could do that. So it's like we visually conceptualize something and then somehow work out how to do it, or does it go the other way? Now that it seems to be that's the way it goes.
I don't know. Like, I just watched this stuff about augmented reality that's like blowing my mind, to where there's a perception that like, so it's these goggles, but you can see through them. So you can sit in your living room and you can see all your own furniture, but there can be a projection on top of it to where it can augment what you actually see. So you can actually have a gigantic screen on your wall that's not actually there, that's just posted up there. Or you can walk around like a mall and see an item and like click with this remote, and then Google will bring up this thing. And they're saying that once they get the virtual reality going, we're going to do augmented reality. So people aren't going to have to buy like alarm clocks or like big TVs or anything like that. They'll just buy these goggles, which will eventually just look like glasses that will have these projections that only they can see, and it's going to augment their own personal reality. It's crazy.
That's cool as fuck, though.
Yeah, that's cool as fuck, right?
Yeah,
I'm
I've seen
signing
these
up
little cubes
like
you
as
take
soon.
around with you that like project in front of you. That's next level. Just,
Yeah.
well, wasn't there like some Google glasses that did a similar sort of thing?
They tried really hard.
It didn't
They
work.
tried really hard. I think they're gonna probably put more into that now because
Don't look into gadgets.
it seems like more time.
Because that shit happens. You're like, oh yeah, these glasses are coming, and then you're like, where the fuck are they? So the VR's hit now. I think I've seen this real cool TED talk on VR and the way it could go as far as use in different applications, like not just entertainment, but like teaching aids and stuff like that. Like imagine a whole classroom of kids had a VR set on. History lesson is we're going to take you to this place, in this time.
Yeah.
Show you what happened, and then space, man. Imagine like. Yeah,
I'm selfish, so I thought about tattooing, and I was like, it'd be cool to have like a 3D scan model of somebody's arm and be able to draw directly on their arm.
And well, have you seen Dominic Queck? I'm not sure if that's how you say it, but on Instagram, and he does all the 3D like digital sculpting, and now he's using the VR components to paint and sculpt. It's fucking cool as to say. So it's happening fast, man. That's not stuff I thought was going to be around for a little bit longer.
Nope. It's gone.
Nope.
That's a good segue into looking at the science of tattooing, how things are different, how we know more about tattooing now, and the equipment. So we can get into that little thing that you told me about earlier after we talk about some other shit.
For sure. As soon as you said science just then, I feel like, we know science is leaps and bounds outside of tattooing, and tattooing is kind of playing this catch-up game as what we know within it. I still find I talk to a lot of tattooists that don't know much of the science behind it as far as skin penetration and what is actually happening, carry a solution with ink in it and like where it settles into the skin. And,
the microphages and all of that shit.
All that sort of stuff. I find there's like a lot of, because the way tattooing works is this is a passed down trade. So, you're learning from the people that, have learned from someone else and have gathered knowledge along the way and things like that. So a lot of it has been this, bits and pieces apprenticeship for everyone. And it's collectively now through things like the internet and doing expos and stuff. Now we have created this better knowledge, but just coming back to even like the Australian licensing stuff, this is now a thing they're going through they're trying to find out who in the industry knows the most and who governs the body of the science behind it, if you will. And the safety.
Wow, they're going that far?
Well, they kind of have to if they're going to, if you want to make a body that's going to govern how things go. And in Australia, we're a bit of a nanny state as far as, very like labor here is expensive because occupational health and safety is crazy. That's why people get paid. Yeah, exactly. Get paid a little bit more in Australia because like the jobs are considered, there's a lot of training behind everything anyway. So tattooing being very, very unregulated here at the moment, they're like, who knows this stuff? And it all comes down to like skin penetration and, like bloodborne pathogens. And there's training out there for different like, what's the word? Like types of this industry. So, like your beauty industry and like other people that do similar things to us, like doctor surgeries, and you go into a dental surgery, and we really should be at these same kind of levels, but no one wants to put any schooling towards it. So it's pretty hard. That's a pretty hard one to regulate. Who says that a certain way of tattooing is the right way? That you can't bring that into it, but then there needs to be some element of people understanding what they're dealing with.
I think standardizing the health side of it is one thing.
Yeah, it all gets lumped in together though. That's why like we've got guilds here trying to like take control of it for us as tattooists, rather than just letting a government come in and go, well, fuck, we're just going to like, this is how we see it. So we're going to lay down these rules for you that will mostly include the safety and standards in that way. But there's the possibility of it becoming this, this body that will turn into, we've watched it in Australia with the makeup industry and like the beauty industry, hairdressing industry, all these, they become standardized over some time and they have some governmental input. Next thing there's schools and there's a billion of them and there's no money in it and it's fucked. So trying to stop that from happening here. And yeah, the world watches the world. So we're looking to other countries to see how other countries do it. And I think people will be watching how Australia does it. And it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
I mean, it's funny to me how much money they're dumping into this, but it all makes sense.
Yep.
Completely makes sense.
Well, they're also trying to get rid of the criminal element here. That was the number one thing. But then,
you think that's why there's so much push for change there, more so than everywhere else?
It was the original push for change, but it became something different very quickly because they got what they wanted very quickly. And then all of a sudden there was this, commission towards the tattoo industry. There was something that was official all of a sudden, and people had to come forward and say, yes, I'm a tattooist. Here's my information. I need a license. So that just sent bells ringing for other things like tax departments and blah, 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 safe, health departments, all this sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah. But that's one part of the science of it. I mean, there's a lot of other different stuff that's obviously going off topic onto what we're dealing with here at that point.
It's interesting that there's not a lot of information out there about specifics of tattoo inks when you think that would be such a major concern.
Yeah, well, there's like certain standards across the world. Like there's a European and a US standard, I think. And
was I not supposed to use my ink in London?
Well, not so much that. It's just like there's like recognized standards. So I think obviously a European standard is up there and an American standard would definitely up there. So like when we look for inks in Australia, then we would look for those ones first. Obviously Japanese for like back in the day, the Kurasumis and things like that. But then we've always been warned not to use like Chinese inks, obviously, because the unregulation of them. And then I think at certain points they were actually not really like, they weren't brought into the country because of the standards. And I don't know if they would be up to our standards here. So you can only really buy them on fucking eBay and shit like that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Do you have?
I don't think there's any like I don't know of any regulations.
Really?
I know that they're self-regulating. Some of these guys go as far as to be gamma ray sterilized. These things are dropped real deep into the bottom of the earth and fucking bombarded with gamma rays for a certain period of time.
Yep.
After the bottles are filled and sealed, and like that's one of the standards of sterilizing those things. But there's no mention of specific preservatives that are added to the ink for once the bottle is opened or. I don't think that there's a governing body that looks into that. And honestly, I really don't think that there's been very many problems or cases with high quality ink in the first place. It's grabbed no attention because most of the ink that I think is out there, that most people are using is high quality scratchers. That's a whole different story.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting thing. Like when I was working for a tattoo supplier, we would go through, inks have an expiry date on them, like certain brands do that. It might be something to do with that European classification that they had a use by date. And
yeah, we have lots in use by dates.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think it's something that became like standard within that thing to try, create some form of safety and, be aware of how long you've had that fucking ink. Mm-hmm. But if they're alcohol based,
you can use it as watercolor.
But yeah, that's what I did. I used to start painting with this stuff when I was done with it. It's like or even if I didn't like the brand of it and it wasn't going in how I liked it, use it on paper. It's still all right. Most of that shit's like calligraphy ink to start with anyway. Back in the day, that Kurasumi is literally calligraphy ink. Man, I used Talons and Pelican ink for a few years, and that's just straight up like black ink.
They still use black sumi ink, like in Tabori. Like a lot of these guys still grind a fucking sumi stone and make black ink that way.
Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. It's just like mass production then brings in that element of contamination of big batches. So that's when you're talking about like safety and stuff like that. And yeah, I think some people are aware of that. I think some people don't know much of that to start with. So then that can't be passed down onto apprentices and shops and things like that. I find that advantage of working in big shops is when you get that mass collection of knowledge, and all of a sudden everyone knows that shit. It's good.
Yeah. I think that's like the most poignant part of the tattoo science is to make sure you're up on exactly what we're doing to people. You are still penetrating somebody's body, and you can get them sick. But
yeah,
other
that's
than that,
the big open wound. That clients forget that stuff too. They're like, how do I care for this? And you think some common knowledge about health and hygiene and caring for wounds, but some people have never hurt themselves, so they're just not used to that shit. And they, if they're unaware that is a big open wound that's open to infection, so
yeah,
gotta be careful.
That's why the sunburn thing is wrong. You got to look at it like it's a big road rash, like you just fell off a bike and scraped your leg on the sidewalk. It's not a sunburn. That's more of what it's like, because you can get that infected a lot easier than a sunburn, unless it's a really, really bad sunburn. Where you got,
like when you said about like you've never seen many like reactions to ink or anything like that. I mean, the only stuff I've ever seen is like infections from bad care. Generally, I've seen red reactions, like something that happened back in the day, a fair bit more.
I can agree with that.
You've heard of red reaction?
Oh yeah.
Well, anyone that hasn't heard of red reaction, it's when the pigment can't settle in the skin and it festers. So the carrier solution that would be sitting around the ball of pigment itself, when we're talking microscopically, that carrier solution would be taken away through to the lymph glands and disposed of through the body. And that doesn't happen in some old school inks that had straight base red pigments basically. And I can't remember exactly why, but anyway, then it just won't heal nicely. So you can have something that's like itchy and sore for even years I've seen. But most of those inks disappeared out of the industry. There was only a couple of known brands that really did that stuff. And I was taught a thing years ago of how to get rid of it, and just tattoo that spot with water to help give it some more carrier solution to help break that cycle down again and try start it again. It can take a couple of times, but I've done it for a mate and it worked for him. So
I've seen a lot of allergic reactions go through that, and you end up seeing that same process, because we use witch hazel. We would tattoo witch hazel over the top of it just because it's an astringent. But for the red, and most reactions, from my understanding, it has to do with the macrophages, which are what is actually capturing the ink and stays in your skin and stays in those spots. They're part of your immune system. They capture particles. They're usually swept away by antibodies, but since the pigment is kind of like in a neutral state, they just stay there.
Yeah.
But when you get somebody who has a reaction, these macrophages and all the antibodies actively try to get rid of that shit, because it's it's pretty nasty.
It is.
I've seen people with pits like in their skin.
Not fun. I mean, this is pretty much,
disgusting.
we're talking about one of the worst things I've seen in tattooing. There's not that many risks of things like that. That's a pretty much a 1 in 100,000 to a 1 in a million case, that one.
So that's a pretty good segue into like the evolution of tattooing equipment and sterilization and all of that stuff. Like when we started off, if we talk about like Aboriginal tattooing, we have nothing really. We're tattooing with bone and fucking charcoal ink, probably.
There were some pretty innovative motherfuckers though. All of them from
very very good, very good though.
Carving teeth and sharp stones and
walrus tusk.
Thinking of that stuff back in the day. Some like black soot and bit of something to make it some liquid. And
seems like they were bored. Like they got bored, like when you get camping, you go camping and you get bored and you're just like, fuck it, let's just do something.
Oh, bro, if we were out there back in the day with not much to do, we would be fucking tattooing each other.
Yeah, exactly. That's a little bit of boredom.
There's a way. When there's creativity, there's a will.
Especially if you got like food and you're not at war.
Yep.
You're tattooing each other.
Chilling.
There wasn't enough people back then.
Who wants to get pretty? That's good. So technological advancements in our technology anyway is I mean, even the new school kids think rotaries are new, but they've been around for a long time. We've just finally worked out how the fuck to use them and build them better.
For sure.
Do you still rock coils?
Yeah. I just that whole the big ass chest piece, the big Japanese chest piece I just did was all coils with those new black claw needles.
Yeah, sick.
I like them. They're sexy.
I always have coils, just nostalgia.
Just in case, you know, sometimes you miss that sound.
Oh man, I started off as a machine builder, so it's like it's a tattoo machine as a coil machine is ingrained into me as what a tattoo machine is, you know. So it's hard to get that out of you, and I think it's cool that people out there love it so much that it will still stick. You know, I don't think that shit's ever going to go away. But now our like difference in all the other shit that we have, like, man, did you see those new lights that I saw one at the Dallas convention, and then I've just seen in Australia they're starting to sell them. There's like warm and cool tone double lens light with USB attachment, and like
it's got like the stand and the two arms.
Yeah, it's got a remote, and it's got like, you know, it'll flash when you take a photo. It's pretty cool. You know, in the last 12 months, there's been a couple of cool things come out. But in my 10 years of tattooing, there's been heaps of cool shit come out.
Oh man, that's overwhelming. All of that shit. I mean, I remember the first direct drive rotaries that I ever saw. I used to see them even back in the day when I would look at like Spaulding Rogers tattoo and Superior tattoo supply shit. I mean, you would see them, but they were like these cheap, kind of directed more towards cosmetic tattooing and shit like that.
Yeah. The original Laura Polini. Do you remember that one? It was one of those first pen drive rotaries. And I'm pretty sure he was selling it as a cosmetic machine. And I reckon
that's how Cheyenne started out.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I thought they must have gone from that Laura Polini pen to the Cheyenne one. And there's there's been a couple more pens over the years, Stylus and whatever. There's now the Cheyenne Pen after they've done their other ones. But there's
a shitload out there now.
Oh, the FKI ones, the dildo machine.
the what is it? The Zion?
Oh yeah, I can't remember what it was called. Like, no. I was hell keen to see what it was going to be. I was still keen to see it, man. But that thing is a dick.
Yeah, it looks like it, right? It looks like it. But a lot of them do. By the way, these pistachios are delicious, everybody. Eat more pistachios.
Oh, man, I got some chips next to me. Next time you're on screen, I'm eating some.
But those, I have like the Swash Drive brush, which is another one of the pen dickish kind of things.
Oh, true. I've not seen that. I used to rock the Swash Drives back in the day. I loved so that's one touching on how old Swash Drives can be. That Swash Drive Generation 1 is like fucking 20, 25 years old.
Yeah, but Swash Drive was known as probably, at least in my experience, as the first really quality rotary.
Yeah, the Gen 4, 5, and 6 were the ones that I used the most, and I swore by them for years. They were amazing. That was
Aussies can make some rotaries, man.
They did all right.
I'm in love with them. Yeah.
Then it became the battle for the pneumatic.
I'm gonna grab it real quick.
Go nuts, bro. Because after that, I'm not even sure if it was after that. It might have been around the same time the pneumatic injectors came out, and I started on them, and like I had compressors because I was an airbrush artist. So none of that was very foreign to me. So the idea of using air, that was cool as fuck. I bought those things, and that was like being a dentist. And just using this dentist drill pneumatic injector. So, oh man, I've been there since the trials of injector, like trying something completely new again. Those, I think even my boss at one of the shops I was at invested in an entire shop setup of a compressor just to get something new happening for the shop and like have a bit of a gimmick. And man, you walk into a shop of a whole shop, people were using pneumatic injectors. It was like,
you guys, Injector did the pneumatic thing too at the same time as the Pneuma, huh?
Yeah, same shit. Yeah, exactly.
And then you guys had a machine. Damn, that was a long time ago. I'm remembering all of this because this is before I was fucking around with all the rotaries, but I was still kind of like trying to be hip to it.
And you just everyone was like watching back then. You let the few people use them, and you're like, we'll see, because that shit was all expensive as fuck back then.
And then they started getting smaller. Yeah, fuck yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah. So And then I think I went to the R1s, the Injector R1s, and they were pretty sick. And that started
R1.
Yeah.
I wish you had some graphics.
I know, right? Next time I'm at the shop, we'll do the whole collection and look through. Man, I'll take you to Injector's fucking factory and do all his stuff, man. I'll let him show off all his mad science collections. You guys will love that shit.
Yeah. So this is that.
Oh, the dab view. Go again.
There we go. So anyway, that's the little Swash Drive brush. It's a neat little thing.
That's very interesting. When did that come out?
I don't know. I got this a while ago. The dude Tony, I think is his name from.
Yep. Yeah, no, I've not seen that. I've not seen any Swash Drives for a little bit. Man,
yeah, pretty interesting.
To my injectors.
Yeah, that's what I have. I this thing, unfortunately, Swash Drive, no hate, but it stays in the case quite a bit.
Yeah, it's not even like that, man. Like I got my sponsorship from Injector and I use them daily, but I love machines. So, I still collect tattoo machines. I still keep my eye on. You've got to stay current too, is like what's going on out there. So I always check out the new rotaries and the new ways people are trying to do shit. That was talking about, just like this week I was looking at a power supply and I've been using a friend's critical atom, those tiny little ones with no foot switch.
Yeah, that's what I use on the daily.
And that's your reg, is it? Yeah. I had a CX2, a critical CX2, one of the real old ones. That shit lasted me 8 years, man.
Great.
Yeah, my entire tattoo career. So that's what I've been rocking. But then someone showed me the iPower watch power supply. Have you seen that shit?
Yeah, you wear it on your wrist and hook your machine up to your wrist.
I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, nah. But I don't know. I think I'm probably gonna buy one.
Get it.
Yeah,
Get it. We'll do a review.
Yeah, why not? I mean, the price of it's not too bad. I don't know, it ranged from like 150 to 200 US, depending on shipping and all that kind of stuff. But that's pretty cheap. And who knows what the battery life? It says 500 recharges, 500 cycles, which is, I guess that's more or less 500 tattoos, because I think the battery life on it was like 5 hours of actual tattooing. But
no, it's more than that. It's more than that.
Was it really?
It's quite a bit. It's like 12 or like something ridiculous like that.
Oh shit, that's real good then. I must have read like a different one. Well, I know. Anyway. I'm
gonna look it up.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm super interested.
Yeah, it was something I only looked at this week, and I think it's quite a cool concept, even to travel with. It'd be real cool. Just, man, that shit doesn't look like anything. It's for people that are out there traveling and tattooing, it's all about what doesn't look like tattoo equipment. Especially if you're going international. So and space and all that kind of shit, like that takes up no room. So I think even just to have as an add-on is pretty cool. So I'm probably gonna get it for that, and then I'll buy myself one of these new critical atoms.
Yeah, the one with the digital readout.
Yeah, I kind of like the original one. Just no fuss, just color, tell you what voltage you're on. Because who gives a fuck about the number you listen to the machine anyway?
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
No.
It's pretty interesting, this little thing.
What do you got?
I'm just looking at the.
Are you looking at the watch?
Yeah, it's not that expensive or something like that, right?
Go for it, man. If you want to bring it up on screen.
Do I? Should I do it?
I mean, it's something different. It's something new. Where the thing that will.
This is it, right? This is the fucking thing you're talking about.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's the one. It's
look at that.
Doesn't look very big. It's got I think it has increments. Way I understand probably work similar to old DC, 3 volts.
Run machine really fucking hot though.
Yeah, well, I've only just dialed mine down recently from a few tips from a few people. And I used to always run my machines on 13, 14 volts. I've tried now to rock back to the 10.5 to 11.5. And obviously it's the rotaries you're using, but when I had the V light will rock all the way from up to 18 volts. It's ridiculous. But I've been sitting on about 10 off, I think, lately.
I'm gonna try that out now because I'm shit on the regs.
Yeah,
this little fucker. This thing.
And everyone's always asking me about like what bar and all that kind of stuff. Like, man, I change that shit all the time. Yeah, I go the solid. Then I went to the little bit of flex, the gray ones. And then I wanted that rigid back again, so I chopped up a needle bar and jimmied up a little bit of an end on it, and now the straight stainless bar in there, and that shit is smooth, man.
Yeah, look at that. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's
boy.
Straight stainless needle bar. I isn't it?
Dude, I went the disposable tubes after you saying you've been using them.
Yeah, they're not bad. They're not bad. The machine is light as fuck afterwards, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what it's done too. And less wrapping. I used to always wrap all my machines heaps, but because of this one now, I just like wrap the back of it, and then obviously like sleeve up my clip cord and just wrap from the back up, and then have this disposable tube. I bailed on them, so I tried some of the Bishop Phantom ones or something like that. I'm pretty sure they were Bishop.
And are they the clicky ones?
Nah, not even. I just gave it a crack, just like not tightening the vice grip all the way up.
Boy.
Yeah, no, it was all right. It was all right.
Hell yeah, that's what I was saying last time. I was like,
well, it made me a lot happier as far as like hygiene too. I like to be very vigilant with that shit. I take a lot of time setting up, covering stuff up, barrier film the fuck out of everything. And
it's important, man.
It is very important. You know, you're dealing with we've got some hectic viruses out there these days. Not that like they're in our industry. I still haven't seen a bad one in my lifetime, and touch wood, but fucking I don't ever see one. But, you know, people get some hectic shit.
Yeah.
Using anything disposable possible. That's why these cartridges, some cartridges now that all use the silicon membrane to stop ink going back up into a tube. You know, that's one tick, and then disposable tube from that, another tick, barrier the film, and like I use a lot of that Coflex, or the cohesive bandage, to wrap back.
I love that shit. I love that shit.
And have you ever used it to
but with no adhesive on it?
Yeah. I've had to use it a few times because like any area that I've like, I'm a skinny motherfucker, and when I get my legs tattooed, my legs swell pretty bad, and I've had some where like tattoos weren't even, you know, they'll want to like split. So I use stuff to keep compression. If you used it at points like straight
on its own.
Yeah, bro, it's never stuck to a tattoo. When I've been worried about it, I've jumped in the shower in the morning to like, you know, take it off, and it's still nothing's nothing's ever stuck.
I'm gonna end this share.
Yeah, certain tattoos would be different. Overly packed, something that's gonna like for 3 days, you're probably not gonna sticking, but it's just gonna give you a bit of swelling, but not massive amounts of like open areas. You'd be pretty sweet, man.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I never would have thought to use that bandage straight on, but that's what it's fucking. That's kind of what it's made for.
Yeah, I even used it on the plane on the way back because, like, you know, just flying with like fresh tattoos is fuck. Sometimes they swell a little bit more with all the pressure and bullshit, and just get in that too.
Yeah, you're weakening that big water balloon that makes up your body, your skin.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts just bulging in that one area.
Yep.
That's like Denver, man. Like the first time I went to Denver, like a couple of years ago, my ankles swell up like all crazy just from the altitude change because I came from the shore. Like I went up to Denver from California, so I went from sea level to Denver, and then started eating a bunch of salt. Like I swell up like fucking crazy. It was nuts, man.
It's fucked. Sometimes you fly and you're like eating like horrible fucking plain food, and they dehydrated to fuck from the aircon, and yeah, and then you feel like you want a beer. Worst idea ever.
That's why you get drunk so fast on a plane.
Oh yeah, I've been pretty drunk on a plane. Squires, fat. Who else? I might miss one, but we were all like cruising across to Europe, and 5 of us flew together. I've never flown with 5 of my mates like halfway across the world. I think we got
shit.
3 hours on a 30-hour flight. It was very interesting. And then the last half of it was.
I remember some debauchery going down into Nogales, Mexico. Oh, there he goes. Look at him. He's just bong it out. Big hits. But going down to Nogales, Mexico, when I was living in Phoenix, we just drive south from there and get a little crazy in this, I think it was called Rocky Point, Mexico. I've never hooked it. I've never done the hooker stuff.
No,
drugs, maybe.
just stick with the drugs.
I've been to the pharmacy a couple times and bought all kinds of things from them.
Yeah.
But that's about it.
Pharmacies in Thailand are good. You can just go get yourself some Valium and Xanax and whatever you like. So you can't smoke weed there. You'll die. But I find that actually, I heard something interesting or seen something interesting on the interwebs about them. There was something about them doing something to do with medicinal marijuana. And this is a country that has literally killed motherfuckers and whatever for weed. And now they're talking about medicinal marijuana. People can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I saw something.
Law originally with weed. Can they be killed now because they want to use it as medicine? Is that science? Is that fair?
Is that? No, I don't think so. It could be. I mean, we've got research going on now. They're starting to all the people that there you go have a little you.
Oh,
let's post it up. Oh, there we go. You can have some of my daily DMs coming up on there as well. That's my own Instagram page. The reg questions I get on there. That's part of the reason I do the podcast now, because most tattooers will know there's a lot of questions out there. People email and DM, and I don't do Facebook anymore because the amount of things I got on there. I mean, we've got a Facebook page now for the Tattooed Mind. Go check that one out, and it's a likes page because questions can get hard, right?
It's just it's overwhelming when you figure some questions become really popular. They come in trends, especially when when cartridges first coming out, getting the overwhelming number of people asking about the whole cartridge thing, and it would be the same question over and over and over again. So much nicer to just put it out here in this format so that you can just find it and figure it out for yourself, and you can hear it from us, but I don't have to say it.
Yeah, that's what I brought up, the needle bars and stuff like that. That's a question I get on the reg, and what size needles and tubes, voltage and all that. It's all preference, but you can try these things out, which is I don't mind answering questions, but I'll go through as much as I can, but when they're the same, here they are. This is it.
I think it's important to build up good hand control, and that lets you experiment more with all of your equipment. If you got a really good hand control to where you can make marks the exact way that you want to, you have full control of that. Once you start figuring out voltage and shit like that, like you were just hearing me and Sam talk about, he's turning down his machine, and he was running the fuck out of his V2, and I run the fuck out of the Nano right now. Well, those are all things to where I can tattoo in any range of that machine operating. It's what I prefer and how fast my hand moves right now. So if you get good at hand movement, then you end up with so much more variety in the techniques you can utilize. You
can choose that end result more than it just come out because of a certain way you have something set. If all those tools of the trade, then you can decide, for this style, I want the outcome of this. And you can be an overall better tattooer, or in every style. If you just, if you're a one-man band that has a shop that's doing everything, then, you can learn to have something set to how you want to do your Japanese and how you want to do your portraits and all these sort of things. Or if you're just still going for one specific style, they're still all just they're all just packed and ready. Their weapons ready to go. You're like, I can do this, turn it down. Now when I'm going to pack this white, I'm going to change it. And yeah.
I think a lot of people get stuck into wanting to be the best at one style in particular, doing just Japanese or just this and just that. And there are some people who get into that, but I think that experimenting a lot and getting outside of your comfort zones a lot of the times is healthy with the tattooing thing too. You can be known for trends for sure, but it's nice to stretch your legs and just do some shit that you wouldn't normally do, even if you don't post it on the social media, just to do something different.
Every now and then, I feel like the social media pressure almost stops me from doing some of those other things that I want to do, because you're like, fuck, I want to try this thing. But then if I show the whole world that I'm doing this, it might become something, and I don't know if I want to get stuck doing that. Because at a certain point, I've decided, now I'm not the Japanese dude. When my first few years of tattooing, I loved Japanese, and I wanted to tattoo a heap of it, and I did. But you know, I saw other people doing it better and I was like, that's not my thing, you know, like I'll stick more towards what I know and start refining you know, I came from a realism background with the airbrushing. So that was more my thing. And it was like, why not try hone in on what I know? And that's led me to this point where now I do this, you know, surrealism, realism, scary. And now it's turned into this more bio, which is what I love. But yeah, every now and then I want to do this like neo trad face or something like that. It's hard. So that's when I do it on friends and family and stuff like that. And I get it out of my system. And I post them every now and then. But I also still have my regular clients that I've had for nearly 10 years that just want stuff the same. So then I get to go back to old styles. And yeah, it's good to experiment. It's good to go back.
I think that's important. I think it's important to get you know, a little bit of inspiration from where you haven't been for a while. Because I figured, you know, a lot of that stuff out, you know, jumping back and forth between doing super realistic stuff and doing kind of like the neo Japanese stuff that I like doing. And you know, some of that line weight has crossed over into the realistic stuff. You know, some of the color packing has, you know, leaned over into the realistic stuff of making certain things simpler when you have a more complex piece inside that overall image. So there's contrast there, all kinds of stuff. And I think that, like, looking at that, and then I think it's fun. I think sometimes it's fun to just dive into something that you haven't done in a while or that you don't normally do and really try to just get something down and be like, all right, that was cool. But there is that whole thing of like being a furniture maker and you make one really dope chair, but it's not like the cabinet you normally make. And then you get stuck making that one fucking chair for the rest of your life. And, you know, it's not fulfilling.
I think when you start getting comfortable, you forget that it's like, it's good to feel like you're struggling. You know, it's good to feel out of place for a little bit. Like you're not quite sure if that's the right move. And that's all a good thing. That all means you're like making decisions as you're going and you're thinking about what you're doing. Like being automatic in things is also good, but those automatic things is obviously something that you understand or know. And you know, in your brain, it's logical and right. So you do it. But then every now and then you get stumped and you're like, fuck, you know, am I making the right decisions, or even just choosing to go about a process a little bit differently and knowing that it's going to take longer to get to that good outcome. You just got to like trust yourself, but it's good to panic.
Yeah. It's a little bit of controllable ego death though. Like to put yourself in those whole little, you know, situations to where you're kind of like, oh shit, you know, I'm not inside my element. Like I know what I'm supposed to do technically, but it's, you know, you're trying out something different. You're getting outside of your comfort zones. I think that's you're killing a little bit of your ego in a healthy way. You know, taking on those little challenges makes you look at other people and go, oh man, you know, I kind of appreciate what he does a little bit more. Because I have some homeboys who do like neo-traditional stuff and even just traditional tattooing. And you know, a lot of times it's like I'm doing more complex shit, you know, visually, so I feel like jealous that they get accolades or that they get so much swag or whatever the fuck it is. And then I do it and I'm like, yeah, you know what, but it is really hard to fucking pull a super perfect line off.
It is fucking hard, isn't it?
Yeah absolutely.
I've felt those same things, and then I go to do it and I'm like, pwah, like how the fuck did you do that? Yeah, man, I definitely got some appreciation for some of those trad and man, geometric, and even just like some of the tattoos that people see that, you know, like can be considered a bit wanky from the actual artistic crowd, that, you know, just single lines across people's bodies, and this experimentation of like geometric shit now is pretty crazy. I saw a straight line it was like a seam around their entire body. It like went all around their fingers, like in between them, all through like these ways, and then like down there and up through their armpit. And it was one single clean as fuck line. That's something in itself.
Those are all people who either are in a fine arts program or their tattooer is in the fine arts program somewhere.
Or they just like torturing themselves.
Making a statement though. You're just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they did it around the feet. If it just went around like the arch of the feet as it came down the ankle, or if it went around the toes like it did the hands.
Ooh, I don't know. It'd be awesome if it went in between their toes.
Yeah, because fuck them, right?
Exactly. Have you tattooed many? Well, you've got your palm tattooed. Have you tattooed many palms? Have you tattooed any of the bottom of the feet?
Yes.
Yeah.
The bottoms of feet I've only done twice, and both times were fairly small. Hands I've tattooed quite a few, and I've hurt people, and I feel bad. I have a real sense of like that. This is not what tattooing is about.
No. There's people out there that tattoo for that reason, though. They're funny to watch.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're fucking amazing. And I every now and then I feel like it's part of it. I feel like sometimes the really sadistic ones, they get shit done. Yeah. It's
absolutely knock shit out.
Fuck them, yeah. And like going back over shit and going back into shit that's like been done for hours, and second day passes straight over stuff. Like some of that is sadistic, but it's got to be done. You know, you want good art. Like a canvas is living and breathing, but it can cop a fair bit
you really got to know what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly.
You really got to know what you're doing. And I think a lot of those guys who are like that also just know how much a body can take from so much tattooing.
It's experience just that like gets to that point. Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, you see people that put holes in people, and that's inexperience. It's not knowing what your machine's doing or what you and your client are doing, or the application and what the skin can take. It goes back to all that science. You know, there's so much behind this gig that people don't realize sometimes. You know, you sit down and talk to a client about what you're doing, and sometimes they're like, holy fuck, you know, I had no idea that this is what was involved. Or it's generally when it's like another artist comes in, you guys start talking behind the scenes with your clients there. They just sit back and they're like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And it's like that you know, this is the world when we're talking compositions and flow and using body and muscle shape, and you know, this day to day, it's stuff that should be ingrained into people.
Most of the time, yeah.
Yeah.
But you oppress me because I believe in science.
Yeah, so it's logical.
Yeah. No, well, I just think that like, especially, you know, there's this odd sense that people don't pay attention to what tattooers really do, and they don't know a lot of this vocabulary. But obviously, there's something deeper to all this, or we wouldn't have caught the eye of the moment. We wouldn't have the limelight of TV shows and all of this stuff being part of pop culture right now, because there is something real about tattooing that takes real skill, and there's philosophy and belief and all of those beautiful things behind it too. But like when it comes down to making an excellent fucking tattoo, if you guys, you know, if the layperson believes that it's just this kind of like ABC formula, you're fucking crazy. This is creative problem solving at its core. Like, you have to reflect on every other piece of work that you've done on this body part, and also like the typical type of work that you're going to do, and try to not do that, but also do something that works in the same space. And that's one of the, you know, simpler things to try to explain to people. And that's just one problem.
It's one of the last like crafts in the world, right? One of. It's definitely not the last.
Shaman.
Yeah, exactly. We touched on that episode 1. We are the shamans.
Ayahuasca and shit, bro.
The tattooed mind shamans. Say hello to the interwebs. The interwebs is the one that gets to see my beautiful curtains and everything else. What up?
Yeah, check out the curtains. What up, homies?
What up? Got to keep that social media going, huh?
It's the lifeblood.
You have to
I actually have that down on here.
All the episodes. And what do we got? We got Facebook, The Tattooed Mind, and Twitter, The Tattooed Mind. YouTube, the channel is where you catch all this shit. We do have it on a Blueberry account. You can see it on there. It just pops straight up. But I just put the links up on all the social medias. It's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, just YouTube. You can see Sam's beautiful face.
Yeah. And when I get a little bit more time, it'll be up on iTunes, but that shit takes time. Fucking.
Yep.
Even to go through a process. YouTube takes time. When I said it was Tattooed Mind Tuesdays, now it's like, well, it's maybe anything from Tuesday to Thursday.
Thursday. Tattoo middle of the week.
Exactly. Get it. That's why
we're tattooers.
If you subscribe on YouTube, it doesn't matter. It'll tell you when it's up. I've had a few, all the boys in the shop have subscribed and their phones go off when it finally loads. I heard my own voice walking through the shop yesterday, day before.
It's weird, right?
It was quite strange.
Super weird.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I know that voice. And I just ran out of the room.
I had one of the tattooers out there in Colorado talk to me about it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very, very strange. It's not really what I was in this gig for. I just like the idea of spreading some knowledge and shit. I don't like the sound of my own voice. But like we were talking about before, there's so much out there that people don't know, clients and tattooists and everyone alike. So it's good to get out there. I think the more people know about stuff, the better and quicker something can evolve.
Yeah, it has a lot to do with education. It has a lot to do with just, I think it helps me think talking about all of this shit. You know, I think it's interesting, like, to hear what people think is funny.
Yeah.
You know, like Roger was a huge hit in the shop in Denver. Big stoner community though.
Awesome.
And they fucking, you know,
the
they
jazz
super
has been a big hit for a few others down here.
They fucking love that shit.
The dab hits.
My boy Justin really enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, do it. I just did a monster.
Yeah, I seen that. Everyone else saw that.
I gotta abuse it.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun having others on the show. It's got a few of the boys at the shop rolling, and I'm like, all right, I'm getting you guys in and doing this stuff. I don't know if you saw on my social media on my story, we had like
the party.
Yeah, exactly. That was quite a bit of fun. That was the biggest one we've had so far, and yeah. When
that's cool, man.
We're all fucked up. I was like, I'm getting you and you and you. So expect a few of the boys now. I'm gonna get Dead Cherub on there and Mill Younger. I'm gonna get him. We'll get Andrew on with him maybe at the same time. Andrew,
excellent.
Yeah, who else? Tattoo Benny's definitely gonna come join us. We'll do the whole shop run through. But shout out to all my boys. Tim Tavares, keen as all fuck. Who else? I'm grabbing rigs for no reason now. Who else?
Yeah, I got a couple boys who are gonna jump on when I'm going to Longview, Texas, later on in August, and then I've got Lubbock, and then I go back to Denver at the end of September through October. And
it's hard trying to work out the ones that want to talk, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if everybody's kind of up for the bullshitting and the talking. I talked to a buddy of mine.
The sit-ins are easy. You don't make it so official. I'm like, just come do a sit-in.
Yeah, just come and bullshit. But like one of them got really interested when I started talking about jobs before tattooing, because he's like, he's a truck driver, so he's got a bunch of really good truck driver stories, like seeing some crazy shit on the road. And I was like, okay, excellent. This will be something that we'll have to ask people.
Yeah,
if they've ever had a job before tattooing.
Yeah, well, it's something I ask a lot of people because I'm not even sure if I've asked you. What did you do before tattooing?
Well, I started working pretty young, so I started tattooing really young, but I still had a job. I didn't did my first professional tattoo probably in 2005.
Yep.
You know.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, probably 2005. Before that, I would still tattoo it, but I was an idiot. I was tattooing my friends with rotaries, but prison style rotaries, because I was from the hood and shit.
So you didn't have many other jobs before tattooing, really?
No, well, I did work. I did.
But nothing you consider job status-wise, career.
No, my first job.
Yeah.
My first job was I worked at a movie theater, which was real short time. I had sex inside this movie theater and like a lot of the supply closets there, like down the hallways.
That's what you do.
I was young, dude. I was young and I didn't know any better. And there, you work with girls, and then you spend enough time with girls outside of class where you're used to them.
Yep.
You end up having sex with them, especially if you could talk. And then after that, I ended up moving to Phoenix right after high school, and I started working in a call center like everybody does. Shortly after that, I went to Two Cats Tats out there in Glendale, Arizona, and I started working there. I started making needles and handing those off, and kind of eked my way in there because I always still wanted to do it. It was super fun. And then tried to start a business very entrepreneurially at 19, lost my ass, and then left to Farmington, New Mexico. Mm-hmm. And I tried to tattoo there, but it was illegal in that city, so I had to drive on the weekends to Durango, Colorado, which was like 45 minutes away. Before that, but then I was working in Farmington during the week, so it was like only a weekend job doing the tattoo thing. Then eventually I moved back to Texas and started like really hammering down. I got hurt at work, so I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna tattoo.
Interesting.
Yeah. I got hurt as a heavy equipment fabricator, a welder and nonsense. Hurt my back.
Did you back bad?
I herniated a disc, like my L4, and then like have a slight bulge in my L5. And I went into like traction slightly.
Yeah.
They put me in a traction machine, and I was kind of like pretty much good for that. But got really addicted to pain medication. So that was an interesting ride.
I fucked up nearly all of my body except for my back. But now that I'm tattooing, it's gone.
Yeah, that'll happen, right? Yeah, I got really addicted to pain meds. So we'd saved my life. Tattooing.
I tried them like outside of being hurt at some point in my life, but I didn't really get addicted to the pain ones. I liked more the sleepers. That's me having, being insomnia. I like the sleepers.
You ever try that Ambien or Lunesta?
Nah, we don't get much of that sort of shit over here.
Ooh, man. Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you guys don't get that. Neither does the UK. They don't even have advertisements for fucking drugs.
No, we don't have advertisement for drugs at all. It's like I don't even know if that shit's legal here, but they don't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah,
pretty fucking interesting. Ooh, I like that little rig, man.
This one's
those little buckets.
This one's a winner.
Little recycler? Is that a recycler?
Yep.
Yeah. Baller shit.
Oh yeah. Cycling.
I gotta do another one.
Join me. Join us. Join us.
I got some really good on the way home. It like glows. It's
yummy.
So pretty. Yeah. I wish I could focus. I keep looking at all of these podcast videos, and apparently I need to up my video game, my camera game.
What do they mean?
There's apparently like a much easier way to do this. I got to look more into it with the whole YouTubing and trying to get the video right, and it taking so fucking long. Because as soon as you told me how long it took, by the way, people, it takes fucking over almost a day to upload one of these videos because we talk so long and we want you to have the good video.
And then the jazz edits, that's what bumps that shit up. I love that. So that's staying. That's staying. I was thinking today before we started this one, I was like, all right, so this is all just like royalty free shit at the moment because we're keeping this simple, people. It'll evolve, like we said, but eventually I want to get a jazz band. We're gonna do that. Jazz band to play.
Since I'm moving to Denver,
yeah.
So since I'm moving to Denver, the guy that I stay with in Denver, he is a gypsy jazz guitarist.
Man, even just when I was in Denver for the day, I sat because in the middle of Denver City, there's those like pianos that are just like permanently there. The people that have like painted all bright and graphed up. And I seen some dude just like, I paid him a couple of bucks and he like did one of the best piano performances and then pulled out a trumpet and played piano and trumpet and then sang all within a space of a minute. It's on my Instagram. You should go check it out, people. It's crazy. It's definitely a music city.
Yeah, at Insamnia.
Yo, yeah, check that out. And at D Hershman Tattoos, go check those. They're the two brains behind the tattooed mind, if you could call them. Yeah. Well, they're brains. I didn't say anything special about them.
They're brains. Yeah, I guess. They're full of certain substances.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, no, this isn't every tattooed mind. This is just ours.
No,
but it's mostly quite common.
Mine's just
there's a lot that I know.
Mine's just coffee, and or caffeine, I should say, and some weed products.
Oh yeah, my brain's clean as fuck. Just this stuff, and I smoke it all for you people.
Lies.
It's for me. It's because I love it.
Absolutely. Cigarettes too. Fuck, we lied. Cigarettes and a little bit of alcohol every once in a while.
Oh yeah. You gotta live. Come on. I've tried. But
that's pretty mild. That's pretty mild in comparison to what I used to do. So go ahead, smoke your dabbies.
It's one of those things. It's like, oh, when's it the right time? Yeah, I'm doing it.
fucking clouds.
This thermal banger is the best thing I bought. The double.
Man, that's nice. Damn, Pimpin', look at your pinky ring. Put your pinky rings up to the moon.
Yeah. Beautiful. What else you got on that little list of yours? David, notes for everyone today.
Yeah. I feel like I got to do my part, man.
It's good. No, I like it. Everyone likes it.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one. The importance of a personal library, not only for reference, but also just reading and knowledge. You know, inspiration in the whole bag.
Yeah, my bookshelf is huge. Yeah, I got two now, really, because I got my now that I have an awesome place to work and permanent, and I can do whatever's in my room. I have a bookshelf in my room at work, so that's all my reference stuff I've collected over the years. I think I'm a bit obsessive with books anyway. So then when I got a chance to buy tattoo books, that was like a whole new world. They're almost a little hard to come by now.
They're a bit of an archaic thing, I think, to a certain extent. You know, a lot of the times it's way easier to get a book on tape or a book in a digital PDF. What's interesting, though, is one of the guys that I really look up to, I've been lucky enough to spend some time around, is that dude, Michael Hussar. And I asked him about success. I was like, hey, what do you gauge people on success? And he goes, well, the first thing I asked is, like, how big is their library? Yeah. So the bigger your library, the bigger a chance of success you have. Yeah. Bigger
I like that.
Success. Yeah, right?
There's a lyric in a song, and I don't want to try to remember who it is because I'll fuck it up, but it's like something about my library at home is worth more than the gold chain around your neck, and I've always taken that on board. I don't, I got a little silver chain I got in Mexico. I don't need no big ass thousands and thousands of dollar fucking necklace or watch or fancy cars or shit, man. My pride and my gold is on my bookshelf. It's especially when you've read them, then you're even more proud.
Yeah, that, and I think my travels, my experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
All around. The books that I could write myself because they're my memories, or the books that I have on my shelf. And I will say, since I drive everywhere, I do fucking audible the shit out of everything. Yeah.
But even just going back to like the reference library and like the tattoo books and like collecting that shit is so important, and looking at reference outside of tattoo books, nature books and like encyclopedia things, and just like magazines. Like, people forget about magazines now. There's Nat Geo magazines, and what doesn't matter, anything you're into you can go see, and there's photos and shit in there that won't be on Google, and like find old books that not every book is on Google. So
even clip art stuff, like old clip art stuff. There's all kinds of stuff. Even getting old books on photography for like portraiture and how to do portraiture and
then learn that shit, huh? Like, you don't have to copy it out of it. Like, learn that and learn how to do it. Be the master of it. Exactly. So yeah, very important. So I've always had a massive reference collection as far as even just like straight up Japanese tattoo, outlines and like color fills, so I can learn the rules. And then I've got all my what have I got? I got the Joshua Carlton's, like some of his how-to sort of books on the first sort of realism that I tried, and Guy Atchison's Reinventing the Tattoo. Shit. But yeah, things like reference material, how-tos, and then outside of the norm. So just like nature and faces and all that sort of shit. It's good to have a digital library, but it's also good to have a solid, physical thing that you can go through. And I still forget to go through some of those things sometimes because the internet is just so easy.
Yeah, I think a good source for a lot of reference and stuff like that too is getting a lot of the pre-production concept art for a lot of these movies and stuff like that. Back to the first topic, to bring it all around.
Yeah, love that circular. Shit. Yeah,
that pre-production art,
some of the best.
Yeah, concept art is just, it's so ridiculous because they're trying to push ideas that they want to sell and put millions of dollars into these specific scenes, so that the artwork is fucking fantastic.
It's like you were saying with the audibles and the audio books and stuff like that. It's something that I put on the background while I'm working and while I'm drawing and stuff, is concept artists with like time lapses and stuff, or even some of their how-tos where you have groups of these people that work for movie companies or game companies and stuff like that. and their task for the day is to draw, 3 or 4 landscapes and perfect one of them. And they have to do some of these things in like hour to 2 hours. And it's amazing seeing their brains work so fast and get these concepts out, and the idea of detail in most of them are pretty impressionistic, but that's what a lot of gaming and concept art has become now. It's the impression of something that can be refined later. And it's so inspiring to watch people do portraits and landscapes and animals and cars and monsters and all this sort of stuff. And digital art has come a long way.
Yeah, it's so easy now. It used to be so exclusive, very expensive.
Yeah, I tried years ago, and I had to like download illegal shit because it was too expensive, and fucking try learn it myself. And it was meant for, you had to go to school to do half of that back then. It's not too hard. But now it's at everyone's fingertips, the iPad right here and, the Wacom right there. It's just, that's it. That's all I need.
Yeah.
And I don't even use that barely ever anymore.
It's crazy how could Procreate get away with spending like you can buy it for $12.99 and you think that's right? Yeah. Amazing artwork.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, how is that possible? But yet, a full version of like CS Online, the newest one, is so fucking expensive.
It's just wrapping the game up. No one else could compete. Now there's, I think that's the way business is going to run now. Give something to people that they want for not a fucked up exuberant price, and they will come. I've not renewed my Photoshop subscription on my MacBook. Like, I don't need that shit now. I've been rocking Corel. Remember good old Corel Painter?
Oh, yeah.
I went back to that with my Wacom. So it's like Procreate and Corel.
I use Photoshop 7 just because I can use the ruler and things to print off of Procreate because my iPad won't quite talk to my brother printer yet.
No, I've always had this hate for Photoshop. I was like, I'm not a graphic designer. Fuck that shit. And I could never learn how to like make a brush and that. Now I've invested that time into Procreate, and now I can make. Man, I made all kinds of brushes. I've like watched people like they've got brushes for sale and all these brush packs and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, no, fuck that. I learned how to make that. There's a Procreate PDF of it's a how to use Procreate. They must have brought it out themselves, and then there's another one that I found that someone else has made. And like people go through, read it. It's like 50 pages. There's so many like hand commands and gestures and shit you can do on there that you have no idea about. It's the same as like anyone that first learned Photoshop, but it's a lot quicker and easier. And yeah, game changer.
Baller shit.
Baller.
So do you think, going on to the next little subject, do you think that you tattoo a specific type of person now? I mean, that's a ridiculous question. That's a ridiculous question, though.
It's not really, because the more, well, I don't know. So the longer I've been tattooing and the more I've been open to expressing who I am on social media and just like talking openly to clients. And generally, if someone sources you out, you already have a little bit of a bond or an understanding or a like for something similar. So I find that that's happening more and more. A certain type, I know what you mean. It's like, it's not that, but it's like, there is a very general way to put it, type of person that comes to get tattooed, and it's happening more and more, and it's cooler and cooler now because I'm bonding more with clients and tattooing more stuff that I like and stuff like that. So yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I that's why I kind of ask. I mean, it's not such a broad stroke question, but we can get a little bit more specific on that. Do you think that of course, nowadays more professionals are getting tattooed. Absolutely. I mean, it goes without question. There's tons of people who never used to get tattooed that I think get tattooed nowadays. Kindergarten teachers, all kinds of shit.
Yeah, like definitely. Yeah. But, got to rack my brain for what all my clients do now. So a lot of my clients would be like, well, we call them tradies here, like tradesmen that do like, carpentry, plumbing, like all those sort of industries here. A lot
builders and whatnot.
Exactly right. Yeah. A lot of my clientele is like that, of that sort of type. Like I don't barely ever tattoo females. I got, like a handful of female clients because most of the stuff I do is scary, and I don't do as many of the like softer, nicer portraits and things anymore. Like I still do them for my clients that I have. And, every now and then if I get bored, I'll like just do a nice normal face. But, people that know my tattoos, I like to fuck with everything. I want to put holes in their faces and bio spikes everywhere and give them 7 eyes. And, that's the shit that excites me. So I get those people come to me like that. They have a lot of metalheads. Metalheads love all that shit. So straighties, metalheads. But I still have all other forms of everything. People that I just have like painters and people like even accountants, doctors, like you said before, like teachers and things like that. But people always have their work, and then they can be very different people when they come to see you. Sometimes it can take a couple of sessions. You're like, what do you do? And it can often surprise you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff is crazy.
Yeah.
I know. I here in town, I meet a lot of military people, and I meet a lot of people associated with the military, and a lot of these people who scare the fuck out of me. But it's okay. But that stuff's pretty much okay. The interesting thing is
you just don't piss them off. That's all it is. Huh?
You just try to do really good fucking tattoos for these people. Just really good fucking tattoos for them.
Yeah. It can hurt you.
Yeah, it makes me wonder though, because like I tend to make a lot of I want to make scary stuff, but I make very pretty tattoos.
Yeah,
make very pretty, very pretty, very painterly, very pretty tattoos.
It doesn't always have to be scary. I mean, that was something that I pushed for a lot of years, and like I think a lot of the time stuff I do ends up looking scary, but it's not like I'm trying to be like blatantly shock horror in your face. I just like things to look dark, and then a lot of people interpret that as, oh, that's very scary, which I that's the part I enjoy now. They're like not having to do something very obviously scary. Like I don't do gnarly faces with scary teeth anymore, and like, well, not constantly. Now I can do something a bit more subtle and see how I can fuck with people's emotions differently, make someone uncomfortable, or give it something very somber or a questioning sort of feel. Exploring all that shit's fun, man.
Yeah, I think that's why I like Chet Zar so much in his characters.
Exactly. That perfect example. Yep.
Yeah, that he makes, because there are a lot of questioning looks that I make at his artwork, from concern to feeling a little contentment to like really feeling uncomfortable and freaked out, for sure. Absolutely. Kind of uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then sometimes like I even have a lot of sympathy. Like I'll look at an image and be like, oh man, I feel fucking bad for this little character, dude, And then some of them that I'm like, oh my God, I can feel the wrath of you through this painting, and they make me uncomfortable.
Yep. Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like artwork like that. I like artwork a lot like that, because a lot of that, when you're doing character creation and you're not necessarily making a picture of something, or you're doing something more along the nature of what you do, which is a lot of abstraction, you're kind of like asking a question and trying to get a response. Like you're trying to play their emotions through your imagery, and a lot of the times like the narrative isn't very clear.
Yeah, exactly right. It's the yin and yang. It's the, there's the beautiful of everything, and the soft and smooth and nice and really understandable. And then there's the other side that's not as often poked, so I like to poke that side and see what's over there, and see what you can stir up from people, and see what, there's still the beautiful side of something dark too. So it's, it's so easily to make something dark and ugly and not appealing at all. So it's, the challenge there of making something grotesque or uncomfortable or dark or evil or scary nice to look at. It's fun, but it's challenging, and it's nice when people do see there is still that skill in something that's ugly, if that makes sense.
Well, I think like for me, I look at it and I still think it's like really cool and beautiful to a certain extent. So like, because that whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder is a true thing. But yeah, there's very few people outside of like people who can appreciate what it takes to make something look like that, who will go, oh man, that's really cool, that's really great the way that's done. because they will take that overtone. But that's kind of in its design. You want them to have that overtone of like, oh my god, I don't want my hand to be anywhere close to that because that looks like it would hurt.
Yeah, and I love that. And there's still that 14-year-old in me that's like, yeah, I just made them be like, oh no, I couldn't do that, or mom would kill me. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the cactus, like, but to a whole nother level. It looks like a monstrous kind of like finger trap. A lot of the times, it's like, don't touch that because that shit could move.
Mm-hmm.
Those little holes would close up and just snap that shit right off. Don't touch his arm. Don't touch his arm. Don't do it.
That's the hope. The hope to get people to try that shit.
Eventually, we'll have to become engineers in some kind of virtual reality pigment situation so people's tattoos can come alive.
Yeah, one day.
Technology.
The Japanese will invent it.
I hope so.
Yeah, they're straight onto that shit.
Those people in Silicon Valley might do it too, though. They're doing a lot of crazy shit. Oh man, I just watched all this stuff from E3 and all the technology that's coming out, and real virtual reality is getting, and how like certain people are already getting so fascinated with the idea of virtual reality, because the first thing that hit virtual reality heavily was porn, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
It dictates.
It's a way for porn companies to come back in and make money again, because they can't make money online when you can just see porn everywhere and it's free pretty much.
That's
so when nobody has to buy DVDs. So here you had to actually subscribe to a program to get this porn because it's in this format, this VR. Well, that's gone there. So people have lost their minds already to go, hey, I want to live in this virtual world this way. And then on top of that, now they're looking at people who are like, think about it like this: if you're a total slob and your living room is completely trashed, but like when you put your VR theater on, you're sitting in like a really luxurious living room, you're gonna want to live in that living room more.
Probably. I'd never thought of that. Yeah, it could be a dangerous thing, huh?
Oh, there's gonna be a dark side to it. There's gonna be some cool shit, but there's gonna be a really fucking dark side to it too.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of cool. Have you seen Black Mirror on Netflix?
No.
It's pretty much all about that. It pretty much runs through a whole different series of like different timelines. So like every episode is like in a different time, whether it's like slightly, in the past or like set 20 years in the future. And it's all just like a bit of a kind of commentary on the society's like social use of like technology and rating everything and having avatars and advertising. And it's very clever.
Wait, this isn't the one where the guy fucks the pig in the first episode, right?
Yeah, but I watched it backwards. I watched season 3 backwards.
But it is though. That's the one.
It is.
Yeah, I watched the first episode, and I was like, I don't know how I did it, but I was like, okay, that's enough of that. I don't need to watch any more of that, because it was really interesting, but it was a little disturbing.
Very strangely, in the 3rd season, you see that playing on a TV screen in another, situation. And then as I was going backwards, I watched season 3, season 2, season 1, because I didn't think it mattered, because none of the stories, they're all just like separate stories. But yeah, I eventually saw that. But anyway,
it gave me a Saw vibe.
Yeah. No. Well, just by the end of it, the way they like use. So there's an episode where everyone has
spoiler alert, everybody.
Every episode's different, and you won't care.
Give me the business though. Tell me how it goes. Yeah.
One of them, like the people had like their own score, so it's like a social media score. So like this idea of like people having followers and having this like a score of life. So if you had a certain job, you got a better score if it was a better job. If socially you're easily to talk to and all this sort of stuff. So every interaction you have with people, you are like judging everyone, and you score that, and then how well you do at work, what car you drive, and if you want this better house, you have to be a 4.5. But if you're only a 3 or something like that, then you have to go live in that area. And it's just this thing follows this one girl who has a shit day, and she wants to go apply for houses, and it gets worse and worse to the point where she's nearly homeless. And it's just a very interesting way on like how we rate ourselves as people now with all these profiles and avatars and social medias and interactions over social media. And then it may be being put into place into everyday life. It was very interesting. And then there's another very good one on advertising, how especially, you know, people watching this on YouTube, how you can't get away from advertising these days, and people were living in these little cubes where it's just surrounded by TVs, and you live in a little avatar world, and every now and then an ad pops up and it costs you money to get rid of it. And yeah, it gets very interesting. I'll let people watch that one. It's pretty cool shit, but it's interesting because it's the way not the way we're going, it's the way things could go. There's endless possibilities. Obviously nothing set in stone in my view for life, so we got to be careful what we do.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, fucking social media and the internet has obviously changed the human race in a huge way. I mean, clearly, obviously, what are we fucking doing right now?
But 1992, the internet started. It's not that long ago, huh?
No, not really.
We saw that be born.
Mm-hmm.
I was pretty young, crazy. But I mean, I don't really like being real young. I don't really remember much before. I remember when we got the internet. That's about it.
I remember dial-up very vividly.
Picking up the phone and like hearing someone on the internet
and
can't make a phone
fucking
call.
Somebody up, fucking somebody. Yeah. I also remember, like, my first real interaction with a computer was like that I really can like cling to as a strong memory was playing video games, Doom, Wolfenstein, and shit like that early on the computer.
Yeah, Commander Keen.
Yeah, that show was fucking fun too.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, Leisure Suit Larry. Do you remember that shit?
That what?
Leisure Suit Larry.
No.
It was
pull that shit up, yo.
No, God knows what'll come up. It was one of like the first, like, I wouldn't call it a porn game, but it was like an R-rated game when computers were still black and green screen. And I remember like finding like a mate's dad's fucking like game on this.
It's like Leisure Suit Larry.
Yeah, that's it. Leisure Suit Larry. You're gonna look for it, aren't you?
Yeah.
It was back in the heydays of no color screens and all that sort of shit. And you got to see some bright green titties on a black screen. And when you're 5 years old, you think that's pretty awesome.
Oh man, it's so cool.
You should find it.
Yeah.
So this is my youth, people. Yeah, even back, same, like, full circle again with the movies. Like, I went through a big stage of not watching a lot of movies. I think it was when I was trying to inspire myself to draw things without being inspired too much by the outside world. And I also just thought most movies were pretty shit. There you go. Look at that.
Is this going to bring back some memories? Yeah.
Bad, man. This is like half of this is probably even like after what I saw. See, Reloaded. This used to be in black and green screen. There you go. Look at that. 8-bit. 8-bit.
So no, that's not the business.
No, that's it. I remember that one. That was probably
there's like a brand new one. It's like, you see this one that's all cel shaded and like 3D. That shit's crazy. It's right there.
I'm gonna buy that. There you go. I don't play games anymore, but I'm gonna give it a go.
This is pretty bad. I want to see the old one though.
Yeah, it doesn't, like, no one probably could work out how to get a screenshot of something that old.
They would just take a picture of the screen, man.
Yeah, you'll have to put black and green screen.
No.
It
wasn't this. It's too new.
No, that's it yet. What is it? Larry in the land of the lounge wizards. It sounds like a brothel.
That's awesome. My favorite shit ever. I want to play that game now. There's
a bunch of California games.
California Games.
Yeah, the one where you got to play like hacky sack and search that one. California Games.
California Games. Oh, yeah. We're going in deep, people.
This is my year. So I'm about to turn 30 like next month or so, and this would have been me at like 5. I'm guessing 5 or 6 years old when we got our first computers, and like this is what I remember Corel Draw from, man. Like I'm now like getting Corel Painter on my Wacom tablet over there, but the first thing that was on our computer was like Corel Draw, so I can, number 1 DOS era.
Yeah, remember when DOS computers were the thing and you had to know the fucking cute the game?
Well,
I
that's
do
what
fucking remember
Delicious
this shit.
Larry was.
Holy shit.
You
Oh
do.
my god.
Flashback. There you go.
Oh, wow.
So that, yeah, what do we got? There's like there's the hacky sack guy there next to that's the Golden Gate Bridge, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
let's get in
the
here.
half
Let's get back
the half pipe, that was always
California
awesome.
games.
There you go. There he is.
Look, hacky sacking it, bro. Fucking half pipe. Oh man. You remember
I can
when
probably get that on my phone now, huh?
Yeah, you remember when you should look that up. You remember when we looked at shit like this? And we're like, man, the graphics are the shit.
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
that's what I mean.
They got Santa Cruz sponsors.
So
This is the shit.
That is old school. Yeah, well, they had green screen, so that DOS was green screen, right? So
most of it though, because I had Doom and it wasn't all green screen. My old computer was.
We had both. I remember we had like black one first. My dad always worked with computers, like his job, you know, entailed
fucking roller skating
and testing that shit out for a living. So I've always been pretty lucky with. Oh, look at that! I don't even remember which one that one is. That's the roller skating? Oh, yeah, there you go. The hang ten, the tube, surfing.
Crazy.
So good. Bring back those games. I can't play COD and all these sort of things now. They're too hectic for me. I got to wear glasses just to watch them. I'm short-sighted, so I'm fine drawing, but as soon as I got to watch a screen, I'm fucked.
What's another good old video game from back in the day? Old shit.
I'm like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all that. That's all my jam. I like fighting games.
That's even that shit now. Even that shit now is kind of overwhelming because there's so much to just smash it on the buttons.
I haven't played them in years, man. That's what I mean. Super Nintendo would have been the last time I played all them, or just like PlayStation 1.
Man, PlayStation 1 was dope too. Anyways, I'm done with you. So,
I'm done with you. What movies you seen lately?
I want to go see Wonder Woman. I heard it's really good. I haven't seen that one in a while.
I've heard that it was good. I heard a couple of mixed, but majority were it's good. I've seen. We went and saw. Me and my girlfriend went and saw Spider-Man. That was cool.
The Homecoming, huh? Yeah, I heard it's really good.
It was a different kind of Spider-Man because I'd seen the old ones, but I grew up on like Spider-Man cartoons when I was real young, and like X-Men cartoons and shit like that.
Right.
So I like all those ones. I even liked the newer X-Men. Logan was pretty brutal. That's the shit.
Right there. Yeah. The Logan was fucking brutal. That little girl is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I wish all the X-Men movies were like that.
That's why they had to make it, huh? Apparently there's going to be an R-rated Venom movie too.
Delicious.
So that will be good.
That's my favorite Spider-Man character.
Yep, same.
Carnage too. They're both.
All those ones are all the symbiotes are all cool as fuck. I learned that word from a girlfriend. She teaches me about the comic worlds.
Yeah? Did you make her in a fucking computer?
What?
I said, did you make her in a fucking computer?
No. Like weird science?
Yeah, like you have a girlfriend that teaches you about comic books?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I like comic book art, but I have no idea about comic books. She loves it. She's a gamer and she loves comic books and everything. She's cool.
So you did. Your dad worked and made computer stuff and you got enough together and you made a robot.
Boom. Got her.
Yep. Thumb on top of that shit.
No, I don't know. It's probably her thumb on top of my shit.
What else? I mean, I'm still pretty much in love with Doctor Strange. And I know that came out a while ago. Yeah. Benedict Cumberbatch, man, he was a good fucking actor. His American accent was not.
It was the tits, man. That was like DMT meets Inception meets Marvel meets.
I want to do drugs and watch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I've only seen it at the cinema, but that's a good idea. shroom party with some Doctor Strange. That'd fuck with your brain.
Little Lucy. We could have a little Lucy invited to the party.
Yep.
I like the fractal idea and seeing that and being like, oh my God, and just getting lost in it and just getting shot off into space.
Of course, Alien, the last Alien.
Of course.
I love that.
I heard that was really good. Which one was the one that the
So
one right before that?
All the trippy sci-fi shit is my fave. Alien shit.
Did we already talk about The Fifth Element? Like, that's like one of my favorite fucking movies. That aesthetic of that movie.
Briefly.
Yeah. I fucking love that movie.
It's amazing. All the concepts, all the characters, even all like the when it was filmed and shit. You watch it now, it's still fucking visually awesome.
That'd make a dope leg sleeve.
Oh yeah,
just something of like just designing the whole Fifth Element out, just the whole, because it would be so good because you could include Gary Oldman's character in there with that clear plastic shit on his face.
There you go, people. If you want a Fifth Element leg sleeve, something nice and big, David's probably going to design it now.
Yeah, I'm probably going to put that together. It reminds me of the poster for like already what I'm thinking about. It reminds me of the poster for Blade Runner.
Do you want to know something fucking hilarious that I found on my computer the other day? A flat earth sleeve that I designed. It was like years ago, and it just like I found it in an old collection of shit. I'm gonna post it up pretty soon. I wouldn't be able to find it now, but I did it before even all this shit started again on the internet, and then I found it, and it was like I did like a ship off the edge of the world, and like all the people, Galileo and Bruno, and it's fucking hilarious. I'm finding it. So if you really are a flat earther out there and you want a flat earth sleeve, I got one ready, but be ready for me talking to you all day.
Just some questions. Maybe have a live podcast while you're tattooing, something like that.
We could debate all day about it.
I think that would be brilliant.
Everyone would be scared that it'd be like a dick hidden in there or something.
Nah, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Yeah. Are you familiar with the guy named Terry Pratchett?
Nah, not really. Not fully springing to mind.
He has this book called Discworld.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's like this whole thing. But the fucking artwork from it is crazy.
No,
so I
gotta
pull it up now.
Visually.
Speaking of all the flat earth people and things. So the whole concept of this world is it's all magical and it's mythical, so it's not like our real world. So this is not evidence for you fucks, okay? I'm being aggressive about it. I'm sorry.
Nah, fuck them.
See, but look at this shit. This is so cool. This is what they believe the world is.
That is awesome,
right?
Well, of course it is.
Yeah, because it's magic. This is magic.
With elephants riding a turtle through space at 1 billion miles an hour.
Yeah, yeah. And look. This is a perfect example. Look at how little the sun and the moon are. Sun and moon, little tiny things.
See, it was
like the size of an apple to these
when
elephants.
They like warmed people to stick away from the brown acid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened to these people.
Mm-hmm.
They became flat earthers, and then they had children.
And when they were just stuck
with their children, yeah,
they were just stuck like that forever.
Yeah, no, they're gone. No, it's their kids now that are making this shit up. They don't know. They've got it inbuilt into them too. There's always generations of people that are going to believe whack shit.
It's so crazy though, but I get it, and maybe it makes life easier.
Yeah, I wish my brain could be that simple.
You got your timer going on that side?
We've hit pretty much 2 hours. We're
sexy.
A couple of hours more.
Sexy. I just wanted to know. I don't have anything else to add to this other than maybe like celebrities with tattoos. I am gonna hype up like the Benjamin Lucas podcast a little bit. Like if you guys are just new to this, we're gonna have him. I'm gonna have some cool questions in store for that.
Yeah,
fella.
for sure. Yeah, not too much longer. I'll be talking to him pretty soon. Work out the dates of that. That'll be fun, and we'll be doing that inside the shop too. So it'll be out of my tattoo room. You guys will get to see all my general setup, and Ben will be a fair bit more comfortable in a tattoo shop, I dare say, than just me sitting here with all my dabs. I'll have my little like portable dab pen with me just to constantly smash for everyone while I'm talking to them.
Look at that monster.
Got to be high.
Oh, I'm glad you brought this up. I got some shit to show you, man. This shit, so I bought this after the last time we talked. So I bought this Wednesday, or something like that. Something like that.
What'd you get?
Look at
Trying to fill it up.
Look at it. It looks like hard. Oh, are you getting my my
I got you. Yeah, I got you.
What you got? You can see me? Look at this shit, man. Can you see it all right?
No, you kind of like, I think you just might have a real 1 second shot of shit reception. Give it another go.
Wow. Hold on. Let me exit my full screen. I don't know what's going on. I think I'm like frozen. You see me moving at all?
Frozen in time. It's all right. I got you.
Oh, no.
I got you. You'll be back. This is what happens when you do things halfway across the world. We've been pretty lucky to do like what we've talked for like 10 hours worth of podcasting recording, and we haven't had major video glitch yet. So I can still hear it. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's agreeable. I can agree with that. At least you can hear me.
So and everybody gets to see your pretty face frozen.
Just frozen
blissfully into that microphone. To see you look like you're soulfully singing to everyone.
I could do it.
You can do it.
I can do it.
Were you trying to do the share screen, or is it just glitched moment in time?
No, it's just a glitch moment in time. I could have done the share screen, but let's see.
We'll give you a
second. I do that again. No. Just keep talking. I'm good. I was gonna show you some crazy drugs that I got. It's like this crazy serum inside a syringe that I got from Denver, the magic free world of freeness.
That's awesome.
But no, they were like, no, you can't show these drugs. They'll come and take them.
What is it? Wax?
It is called distillate. It is called sour lime distillate. It's a sativa, and its consistency is very much like that of like a stabilized wax, but it's 97 point something percent pure cannabinoids.
Holy shit.
So like a grain of rice size is fairly impressive for it to just go away.
And like just cannabinoids or THC as well?
No. Cannabinoids and THC. It's like 80 something percent THC, and it's the rest. The change is all CBD-A and CBD-B.
I haven't really tried just the full CBDs as far as smoking and all that sort of stuff. Anyway,
I just realized that there was a new
pen hits.
Like there's new plants out there that
in what way?
That are specifically grown that are strong in CBD.
Yeah.
And kind of a little bit weaker in THC, maybe like 17%, 10% THC, very low on the low end scale of THC content, but super high, like to where they're at like 7 to 15% on CBDs, where CBDs are usually less than 1%.
Yep.
And so these are supposed to be like super good for all kinds of other things, focus, joint pain relief, all kinds of shit.
Straight back to that science, huh?
Science shit, baby. Science. But I got that, and that was the most exciting thing. It is pretty powerful stuff. It comes from the same company that guy Ken works for, Concentrate Supplies.
Yeah.
It's some serious bang bang. Host has stopped your video.
It's all right. I got your logo while you're doing that.
Oh.
Yours should come back, hopefully.
Let's see. The host has asked you to start your video. Boom.
You have a nice, pretty logo.
Hey, there we go. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, that's my T-shirt.
Yeah,
you can get them at hirschart.com.
Get that shit.
In my stove. That's also how you can set up appointments to get that awesome fucking Fifth Element sleeve.
Exactly right. Hit that up. Yeah, well, funny you say that. I spent last night organizing my my new like information form for like people you want to get tattooed by me. Send me an email. And,
Ooh. Hey, shoot me that. I want to steal some of that. I'm all
go
about
for it.
stealing stuff.
It's just how to go about it. You know what you need to do. You want to get tattooed by me, and how I like to work, and what will consist of the day, and prices, and all that sort of stuff. So it's just kind of an all-in-one information form, you know, to cover a lot of those questions you get sent in the first couple of emails. So yeah, man.
I'm not vain. I've
Insamnia666@gmail.com.
Ooh, that's that devil shit.
Yeah. Get on it.
That's what these tattooed
all
face
the
freaks have. But yeah, let me show you them drugs now that they're there. Look at this.
I don't know. Look, got video back.
It looks like hard drugs, right? Like some kind of weird future drug. But it's like perfectly clear. Like
it's like RoboCop shit. What's that shit they use in RoboCop?
I don't know, but here I'm gonna smoke some of it, and I'm gonna press it out of the tip so you can see kind of the consistency, and see that it's interesting. It's
I was just about to have another hit of this OG rig, but one fucking does it. Here you go. Here's another. The shit clouds so much more than you would think. Woo.
So from what they were telling me at the stores, you can use this just as like a dab pen that's just kind of like full of
look at that
of shit, and just so I gotta heat up my thing right quick. But yeah, it's super tasty. So I think the other percentage of what they put in there, what's not the 97% of the cannabinoid stuff, is like the other terpenes from the plant. And since they're purified, like this really tastes like sour lime shit.
Yeah. Mr. Hit. Oh, he's got that.
Oh man, it's so tasty. It's the most delicious tasting smoking thing. It's almost like candy. It almost feels bad, like I shouldn't smoke it.
Nah, that's when you know it's good. If it's candy, it's good.
Smoking gun, baby. Damn, look at there's so much fucking resin inside this thing already. I just got this, people. I just got this. I'm sorry.
Mine take beatings. That's what they're there for. That's what they're there for. Pew, pew, pew.
I'm a child. I'm 7. Sorry. They can't do anything about me doing drugs now.
No. I live on my own.
So what do you think about like celebrities who get tattooed? Isn't it weird that not enough of them get really good tattoos? Like it seems so easy to find a really badass tattoo artist, right?
I tweeted it a while ago. And it was just like they have so much money and just like influence and source and could get whatever they want. And I find they just like, I don't know, there's not really many good ones. It's the same with like MMA fighters and stuff like that. And I don't know. I've made efforts sometimes to like reach out to like famous people to like give them opportunity to get tattoos and shit like that. Like even offering for fuck all, you know, like come on, come get a good tattoo. It works promotion both for me and for someone like that. It's always good to like tattoo someone famous. And I don't know. It's not an art they seem to really understand. There's a few like celebrity tattooers out there that just tattoo celebrities, but I wouldn't necessarily call them good tattooers.
Yeah. I also think that a lot of times it's just done for fashion. So there's maybe not as much emphasis. I mean, because I'm sure they pay it ass load for the tattoo anyways. Maybe there's not as much emphasis on checking out the quality of work. You know, and they probably don't want to be daring and get something crazy.
Yeah. Well, being like an actor or something like that, obviously they wouldn't want to like go all out and get a shitload of stuff they need to get covered up. Like music industry, there's like plenty of people like in music industries that are like sourcing good tattooists. But I don't know. I guess that's a hard one. The sport industry now has become quite big with tattoos. But
eventually it's just going to get everywhere.
Yep, definitely.
And And then the apocalypse will happen, and then we'll be like hairdressers to where there'll be too many of us.
Yeah, can't get rid of them. Yeah, well, it seems to go in generations too. It's like one generation gets tattooed, the next one doesn't really. So it'll like spawn out, and then I doubt my kids are probably gonna want face tattoos. My dad,
you don't think so?
Doesn't have any.
Because this was the talk that was given to me by my mentor, was that this was going to happen, that the fact that people are getting sleeved up, there's so many sleeves that they're going to be a backlash. And this was a while ago, and I have seen, then since seen these same people that he's talking about have kids. Mm-hmm. And these kids grow and are of the age almost to get tattooed. We're talking maybe 4 or 5 years away. We're talking about 12, 13-year-olds who are like super stoked on getting tattooed.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, I mean, like my sister's kids are like, like 8, 6 and whatever, and they all love it. They see my tattoos. They see, their dad's tattoos, and they see them all around them, and they love them. So I could be wrong. I only look at it from the point of view as like, you see most people in these generations now like rebel against parents and go one way, so they don't have them. And there's a lot of people out there that do have them now. Oh, that last dab fucked me.
I am not saying that. I'm not saying that all people who have tattoos are sensible.
Nah, but there's
there's a group of
people out there without tattoos.
Right. And there's a good amount of people who have tattoos, who are sensible, who have kids, who are very respectable, good parents. And I think hopefully that's going to reflect on those kids that, care about a lot of things, not only how you conduct yourself as a human, but what you get tattooed, and be a good fucking human being.
Yeah.
Get good tattooed. I think there is such a high bar set for a lot of people for what quality of tattoos they want, because they have such access to social media. And I don't even say the TV thing anymore, not even the TV shows, but social media. On Instagram, you can find fucking super dope tattoos.
Yeah, that's where you look. Don't bother with the TV. You get there's a couple of good ones on TV, but it's not where you look. It's not what they're interested in putting out there. They want entertainment and fucking drama and cover-ups and shitty stories and stuff like that. If you want to see where the real art is, you gotta go look for it, for where people post it.
Yeah. I think most of this shit is all about individuality, like what we talked about last time, which is why you get artisans who can make such a good living, and they may not even make a shitload of money. They may just make a good enough living to have a life and be an artisan, which is a rare enough and blissful enough place to be at. You do that, and you meet these guys, and with Instagram, you can look all over the world. If you're looking on TV, you're only going to find people who are in your area, and it's a very elite group of people who may carry around an attitude, because now they're part of two cultures. They're part of the TV culture, and they're also part of the tattoo culture. Whereas if you find somebody dope, like let's say you're overseas in Italy, and you find somebody dope in Italy because you've got Instagram, you'll usually get an awesome fucking tattoo, have an awesome experience, and have come back and be envious, like be the envy of other people.
Exactly right. Travel for your tattoos. It's good. You get stories. One on you forever, and the other one when you went to go get it.
I think it's healthy. So other than that, man, I'm just excited to have Benjamin Lucas on the podcast and talk about his developing styles, how how interesting his imagery is. There's some, he is, stepped on crossed lines and done all kinds of crazy things, but he also makes really high quality, beautiful artwork all the way around. And I think it's interesting to find somebody who can exist in that light and just be
very fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so interesting. I love the new one.
All these social media things, and you get to watch people's lives. You get to watch very easily. I remember buying tattoo magazines to see what the person that see what they were doing next, or see what they really liked and wanted to post into a place. Now you get to see their every day more.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
shit.
Why I think there's so much so much explosion in talent and skill, because people have examples to see. They don't have to wait for the magazine to come out. They don't have to go to tattoo conventions. They just have to go on Instagram.
Yep. You get it all. You get it all right here.
and everybody's always putting up little promos about what they make. Yeah, well, now everybody, you don't even have to ask people what they use, how they tattoo, because everybody's hashtagged all of their people that they fucking work with.
Oh man, when I was coming up with ideas for this, I'm like, we could do the most looked at tattoo of the week, on Instagram or some crap like that. I'm sure there's a way to work that out. I'm like, what's the point? Everyone's fucking seeing it. You don't need to talk about it more. That's what those things are there for.
I think I had something written on here, tattoo of the week review, looking through the week's submitted tattoos and giving out special accolades to stand out. So like,
people want to put theirs in,
listen,
go for it. But I mean, if people really want to see that, I've had a couple of people suggest that we go through and look at some tattoos through the week and criticize. But I always, issue on the side of caution criticizing anyone's work positively, absolutely, but I don't want to spin any shit. So that's a difficult one. But if people want advice and all that sort of stuff, obviously I'm very kind. I'm not going to criticize your shit negatively on something like this. But yeah, it would be a very fun thing to do. I'm even having to do it with my own tattoos. I pick the living shit out of them all the time. I'll just have to ask a client that's happy for me to brutally bash it on the internet.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that there's a big point in working through constructive criticism and be it a dick. I think if you want to volunteer to have us or any guest maybe look at a tattoo and talk about a few things, I think that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to tear anybody apart on this.
No, I don't think either of us are like that anyway. So I don't think there's any fear of that shit.
Yeah. And, and judging like in a contest, that's why it sucks so much, because you kind of have to be like that, because you're looking at trying to give away an award, and now the awards are becoming super serious. Like working at doing a convention and judging where they're giving away $2,500 to best of day and like $3,000 or
I had to judge
best of show and shit.
Dallas Expo, and I had to decide. I think tattoo of the day and then artist of the expo. So yeah, that was with a couple other dudes there, and that was not easy, like at all, because the work was awesome. And like you said, there's something at the end of it. So you're like, well, this is I mean, art's always hard to judge anyway, because everyone's art is different. Technically,
Yep.
Technically, you can look at something to see how well something's done, but there's just so many categories of what makes a tattoo good. So I do like getting into the nitty gritty of that. So it's definitely something we will do.
Yeah, I think that's something that we should eventually get into. Maybe if we end up doing one about conventions in general, just working conventions, how conventions work. Give a little spice out for everybody, even people who are new to tattooing in general, how to actually get tattooed at a convention or how to go to a convention and have a pretty good time. And then talking about, new tattoo artists who maybe have never done a convention, and talking about how they work and what you do and the little fun things that you do, like trying to find places to get stoned in weird countries.
It's possible everywhere. Trust me.
Yes.
Well, man, that was pretty well rounded. I think that one.
Not too bad. Yeah, I don't have anything left.
That's cool.
That's it. You covered the one thing that I was gonna skip on there.
Really?
The tattoo of the week review thing, because we've talked about. Let's see. We'll go over it just for you guys and give you a brief index of what this was about. We did, our movie and TV influences in podcast or in tattooing. The second one was the tattoo of the week review. So we skipped
when it comes to that. I think I spend way too much time on social media, as most people would. So picking one of the week is a momentous task in itself. So
yeah, I think it should be listener submitted too.
Yeah, that's a better idea.
Because if you do something and you submit it, and even if you didn't do it a long time ago, but if it was topical for last week's podcast, I think that's what gives it the tattoo of the week, because the guy who set the tone on that was the Trump one.
Listening and you want to send it in, yeah, exactly. Send it. I'll get you a Trump photo up on there one day. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then we did the science of tattooing. We went into the microphages, actually how tattooing is. We did the evolution of tattooing equipment. We talked about cartridges and needles and needle bars and new rotaries and what's going on right now. We can go deeper into all of these things. We're not just going to brush through them. Podcast idea for we might have not touched on this one, but we're kind of doing this one now. It's the personal promotion for tattooing and how things changed and how it's going and how we could utilize the platforms that are available to us.
Yeah, well, I guess that is everything that we have touched on is all the social media side of shit. And it's like it just seems more of a thing in this current world, you know. Everything is about doing shit for yourself. You can try get these deals with things, not just in tattooing, but, you know, it seems like over the last 20, 30 years, it's all been about landing a deal that gets you something sick for fuck all and you get paid to do fuck all and whatever. It's not so much about that anymore now. It's like, you know, you either just being a tattooist anyway, you either have a real job and then you commit and it's all of a sudden you only make money when you're working and working for yourself. And then you might work in a shop, but you still basically work for yourself. And no one really is going to try to promote you other than you. So now we're pretty lucky to have all those platforms, like you were saying, to get our stuff out there. And I wasn't the biggest fan of it. I'm not, you know, really I want to be on social media and show my entire life on there, but I see it as this free place to show my folio. So yeah, it's pretty fucking stupid not to, right? And
well, you know, for me, it's just like, that's the way I communicate with the world. That's why I make tattoos. Like, that's the easiest way for me to communicate with the world is to put up the work that I do.
Yeah, it's an opportunity.
I spend most of my time. Right? Yeah, so why not just use that as the advertising platform it is? I mean, we're kind of doing that now too, where you've got two tattooers from different backgrounds, different parts of the world talking about tattoo and how there's common ground, you know, in some spaces, and sometimes it's just radically different on different parts of the world, you know, especially the laws of what you're dealing with, how acceptable it is in certain countries and all of that. I mean, but we've touched on all of that. The only thing that you haven't touched on is your jobs before tattooing. That's what we can go out on.
I missed over that one, huh? Mine was pretty varied because same deal. I left school at 16, I think, started like year 11. So I got like what I needed out of school, which was just my like year 11 and 12 art. So I got my VCE. I can't remember what you guys call it over there. GED, is that what it's called in the States? Something like that.
Yeah, you're good enough diploma.
Yeah. So I got out of there pretty early. At 16, I've had so many jobs. I went and did sound engineering straight after that. I got a qualification in that, became a roadie. I used to work like every Thursday night at a metal pub and like play all the local bands and like do all the like you know, engineering, all the setting up of the stage and doing all that sort of stuff for them. And then same
such
time,
a rock star.
Yeah, I wanted to be where I was in a band and I was like, wasn't good enough to like make money off being in a band. I realized that pretty quickly. So I was like, all right, I could still be in the industry and like, you know, record people and set people up. But I was airbrushing at the same time. I'd been airbrushing from about 12 to, I don't know, it was probably like 16, 17 by then. And I had to choose if I wanted to get a franchise in that and continue teaching to airbrush. And I also got tattooed around that same time. So I was like, tattooing or airbrushing. I didn't decide at that early. So I had a lot of other jobs. I did conservation and land management, which was like planting trees around coastal places around Australia. That was a pretty cool job. We did just walk around planting trees, smoking weed. Then I moved overseas to London and I worked in pubs. I managed a pub at like 19 for like a year or so over there. I labored at the same, like within the same period. So I'd like work weekdays at pubs and like labor with some of the boys on weekends. So I've always had laboring jobs as well. When I got back to Australia, I went straight into sawmill work and working in a green mill. So like stacking timber and doing all that kind of stuff. And then I got put on piece rate. So getting paid like per what I do. And then I was making really good money. And it was about that same time I went back to airbrushing, and all my friends after getting back from overseas, kept asking me when I was going to start tattooing because I talked about it for years. So I saved up my cash, and there was a mechanic apprenticeship in there somewhere. I hated that. That's not me. I like pulling shit apart. I like putting it back together when it's a big, complicated machine. So then, yeah, from the sawmill, I went and met a man called Brett Stewart, and he was offering a job to work in his shed as a tool maker. I think it was how it was advertised in the paper, and I knew who he was just because I knew who Brett Stewart was, and I knew it was a tattoo supply business, but it wasn't advertised as that. And I went and asked him for a job, and I told him I wanted a tattoo and all the rest of it. So I worked for him for 12 months building machines and helping him do all these orders. And then he hooked me up with his mate Beansy and put me in one of my first shop on weekends to get started. And yeah, here I am. I think I'm like 9 years this year, I think, around my birthday. So I started when I was 21.
Ooh, that's exciting.
Yeah, bro.
That's so exciting.
I've had a lot of stuff in between there. Like that's all the major stuff. I chopped and changed jobs a lot. I generally like working. I've never really been without a job for more than 2 weeks since I was pretty much 16.
I like the physical work, man. Physical labor is pretty good.
I miss that. It makes me sleep now that all I do is draw for a living and insomnia.
Yeah, it definitely tired me out from the day.
Yeah. It's good. It's good for your body, good for your soul, hard work.
But it was nice to stand back and look at something and like be able to pick something up and be like, oh, I did this, or know that you kicked this much ass that day.
Exactly.
Especially like if you're like laying concrete or fucking doing roofing and you're like, man, I fucking did like 3 roofs today.
Well, I think that's why I can appreciate what I do even more now, is because I've had so many jobs and I've always done labor jobs, and I always had pretty physically hard work. So now I appreciate that I get to draw for a living and get to sit on my butt and make people pretty.
We color for a living.
Exactly right. But there's also, we're reasonably rare. There's not that many tattooists in the world, and that's a very lucky opportunity. And I think most people see it like that. And I think most people want to keep it pretty sacred. So I can't see us ruining our industry and there being too many of us and it all going pear-shaped from here on in. I think it's only going to get better.
Do you think that there's such a thing as there would be too many tattooers? Could there be too many tattooers, especially if there's a level of education that goes along with like understanding how good tattoos can be? Because it's really prevalent in social media amongst many other things.
The way I would see it is just if there's like not too many, but like it gets to a point that it all works out per capita, right? So it depends how many people are getting tattooed. If getting tattooed becomes more and more acceptable and everyone's getting tattooed, then obviously the amount of tattoos can definitely rise with it. The population is increasing massively every day anyway. So like it'd be pretty hard to say, yes, there's too many tattooists, but I don't know. In Australia, we get down to the point where there's like so many hairdressers from some of these like generations that they're now like the lowest paid trade in Australia, when back in the day getting your hair done was probably, reasonably expensive, and now it's $10 cuts. So I don't know enough about business and commerce and the way shit actually goes, but I would think of it as if an overly saturated industry would have to start competing for prices. When you've got 6 shops on the same street and you're all fucking good, then it's like, well, Joe Blow does it for, $200 an hour. He does it for $150. It's the same work. Like it kind of, everyone has to keep pushing. That's why it's like taking the risk to like try new things and like push yourself every day to be the best. Like it's the only thing that's really going to keep those rates up. I think once there's like a set standard of people that can do, these general tattoos, then maybe there's too many of them, but I don't think they are striving to be that. Everyone wants to be, the best. It's just we all have to go through these things to get there.
You don't think that we're going to have you ever seen those dog tag machines like in a big box store where it's just like you go up and you punch it what you want your dog tag to say and it just spits it out for your little dog?
Oh, fuck. Maybe.
Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, but do you mean like actually stick your fucking arm in that thing and it does it?
Yeah,
Or
it's gonna be that. You're gonna fucking swipe along on a
it rolls
tablet.
around on a wheel and it's just got needles that just go.
Yeah. It's just a whole wheel that they replace after they fucking
Well, so
tattoo
what you
you.
touched on before with the like ink that
Pinterest.
changes.
It's gonna be Pinterest tattoos.
Well, there's an idea of like nano ink technology. Have we done this one yet? Where
No,
like
I don't think we have.
no, so there's insulin levels. So
Get
there's
into
like
it. I'm rolling a joint.
yeah, go for it. There's a company out there that's trying to make this nano ink technology for diabetics so it can show their insulin levels on their body. And it obviously has to be hooked to some kind of system that's monitoring that as well. And then it sends signals to these nano ink bot things in your body. And they rearrange themselves to say your insulin level and all the stuff you need. I think it was originally like designed for something like that. Now it's being taken for a few other concepts to tell other stuff in the body. And I've seen one thing of someone talking about putting enough into a body that you could like download an image onto it in a way. So,
Ooh, so like turning your skin into a screen.
yeah, basically. Yeah, some nanobots that can rearrange themselves under the skin that act as pigment. Yeah.
I'm so down for this.
Crazy as fuck, right? So like
Hey,
that's the only time that we're like out of a job is when they work out how to like, well, no, we're not out of a job. We're probably just gonna be the motherfuckers that have to put that in the skin. But all you'll be doing is tattooing some weird goo into someone's skin and then you'll plug them in, download a sleeve, and then every morning they can change it.
oh, it'll be so expensive.
Oh yeah.
It'll be so expensive, you fucks.
Good luck.
Good luck, you fucking fucks.
We'll be the first generation, the only ones that know how to put it in your skin, and then when we're dead, it'll be a free for all. You just be able to go dip your arm in some shit.
But I really think like if we keep going the way we are, we're gonna have vending machine tattoo things. Trust me, man.
Oh no, I wouldn't put it past the future. Just depends how far into the future. I'd hate to see it in my lifetime.
I think it's pretty near, man. I think it's gonna come pretty near. They're already starting to do it with the 3D printer shit.
In saying and hating it, I would piss myself laughing if I went to Disneyland and you could just stick your arm in there and get a Disneyland tattoo. I'd probably do it.
Oh, man, you can't even work at Disneyland and have a tattoo.
For real? Yeah, well, bad example of somewhere to get one, but it's gonna be fun when I go to Disney.
But like Universal Studios, you could just stick your arm in it and get a fucking DC's fucking like Superman.
I hope it's
Superman logo.
I hope it really fucking hurts.
Oh man, they're gonna get it down to where it sprays you with some cooling spray nonsense kind of bullshit, and then fucking they're just gonna and then it's gonna be done. They're gonna figure out a way to do it with lasers.
Here you go. Here's a little like segue from that, and to wait till we get to the point where we have some anesthesiologists on hand and some medical certification and we can numb motherfuckers out.
Well, okay, so this didn't we talk about this when I was talking about Paul Booth?
Yeah.
The chick who was talking about doing ultrasonic blocks.
Yep.
She was talking about doing these ultrasonic targeted blocks where she would go in like ropivacaine and some other kind of like steroid that would keep the
full nerve block out the entire limb, right?
Yeah, to where you couldn't use your arm.
Yeah, exactly.
No motor control.
No.
So you'd have to wear a sling, and they could tattoo your whole shit. I would love to do this, but only for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I hate getting tattooed.
No, I couldn't put that on other people. As soon as their arm's not working, I'm like, I think it's going to come back.
I hate it.
That's why we have this medically trained person here, because
but she's got malpractice.
Yeah. Imagine like, well, how much would you'd have to pay an anesthesiologist a lot of money to come in and do that? That's like it's not illegal. She was
talking about doing a whole arm.
You have to pay
for like
legitimate
$750 or something like that.
Nah, like one of their day rates here in Australia is like fucking $4,000 or something.
No, she said because she can just come in and do it in like 5 minutes. She said she'd do a hand for like $250.
Is that legal over there?
Yeah, just because she's a doctor.
Because she's licensed to do it.
Yeah, she can travel wherever the fuck she wants to do it.
I like that. See, get onto it, people. get yourself a doctor. Yeah. Sparking that joint?
No.
No.
No, that's for the ride home.
Oh, all right. Well,
Yeah.
I'm going to have one more flower before we finish up this thing here.
Yeah, I think I'll take another DB dab, another Barney Rubble, if you will. Yabba dabba.
I'm waiting for one where we do one without smoking weed. Wonder if I'll
we'll have to be
funny.
We'll have to be in a very weird country like Thailand.
I know, right? But then we'll just
be it'll have to be a Sunday in Thailand to where you were like, we can't smoke. So we got to get some other kind of really fucked up, and it'll be worse than smoking because we can't smoke.
Exactly, yeah.
And I can't wait until we can actually do a couple of these together to where we can run around in the streets with just cameras and like little lapel mics. So we can go to like crazy tattoo spots and go get food and do all of this shit, and it'll be like Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah.
But like a podcast.
It'll be fun to actually just do one in the same room together.
Yeah.
We've only really ever been face to face for like a couple of days.
Yeah. Short versions of those days.
So anyone that doesn't know, me and David really only just met a while back.
Yeah. It's okay though. This is how it works. Yeah, less than that.
Your meeting, us meeting. Cheers.
Ooh, get it.
Beautiful. Insert smooth jazz here.
Now it's gonna just become a thing.
It is. It at least is for season 1. We'll develop as we go. All right, brother. Hitting that little gun.
I like this thing.
I like it.
No mess, no fuss. But once I move to Denver, I will have a plethora of things.
Oh.
I can't wait to set up a base there, man. It's gonna be nice, but I want to get out to London, and I've already been thinking about like where I could do this in London. That would be really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I love that city, man.
It's so good, huh?
Yeah, it's such a good city. I love it. Yeah, just to visit.
I've not been back for a while. Maybe we'll have to hook up over there.
Yeah, that'd be good. That place, and do a little bit of traveling. We should talk about a little bit of traveling and what it does for you as a tattooer.
Yeah. Take you to the London convention. That'd be cool.
Ooh, have you ever done that one?
I've never done it. I went to it. Yeah, I went to the third one, so that would have been like 2005-ish.
Oh wow, that's a minute ago. When it wasn't at the Tobacco Docks, it wasn't at the Tobacco Docks.
No, so it was originally, and then it moved somewhere else, and now it's gone back. So I've been to the original Tobacco Dock one. Yeah. Because
I went to the one last year, not this coming month.
Yeah, sick.
I went last year. It's super nice, man. So nice, super cool.
It was so sick.
It's if you want if you're a show promoter and you want to have your balls shrivel up inside of you, go to the London Tattoo Convention. So you can see how to throw that, or Hell City. Hell City is also another one of those. It's thrown very well.
Yeah, we had Byron do 3 Eyes convention here in Australia, and he was trying to compete with some of the things that are being done in Europe and America and stuff like that, because the Australian tattoo scene, expo scene, has been pretty tied up and been the same for quite a while. Just a moneymaker. So, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Rattle some cages and get some cooler shit happening everywhere. Go.
Yeah. I want to plan a trip out there around that time and do that show and then hang out.
Good international
podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. You can fucking MC that whole thing.
Ooh, sexy shit.
Yeah, we had a guy last year. It was hilarious. He fucked up on air during the whole thing, bagged out a big part of it. It was
what do you mean? What do you mean? What happened?
Like, he still had his microphone on and he was like bagging the shit out of something about an artist or the expo or something. It got called out hard. So they're definitely looking for a new one next year.
Oh man.
It was probably the only part that anybody listened to the whole weekend.
Well, tell Byron I said what's up, and I'll chat it up.
Will do. We'll get him listening. I already messaged him the other day. I was like,
be funny.
We can do some injector stuff up on here. So he's a busy man. He'll see that soon.
Yeah, crazy guy, man. Like it's him and Chris Showstopper, right? Like
Nah, Chris Cashmore.
Chris Cashmore, that's right.
Yeah.
Chris Cashmore. That dude's a beast too. Oh.
Yeah, man.
The Chris Showstopper dude is
works with Injector. Yeah, but yeah, Chris
Yeah.
Cashmore, man, one of the origi of Injector with Byron.
So nice.
Yep.
I mean, there's something in the water over there in Australia and New Zealand. You guys are fucking dope.
There's
a lot of really good artists.
Between, I think.
So you just got to stand the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly right. We're all like, hey, over here.
I think it's over concentrated too, of like, because like it's a huge country, everybody thinks, but there's not that many people who live there.
No, not at all. Not compared to like how the rest of the world's populated. We got nothing.
Like, how many people live in Australia total?
Like 25, 26 million. I think it's just about 25 million at the moment.
No way. It's got to be more than that.
No, don't you have like 80 million in Texas?
Oh, we got a shitload everywhere. There's over 300 million people here in the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
More than 300 million. Holy shit. Hold on. Australia.
You're going to double check it. And then land.
I just want to know.
If you're going to do that, you may as well search like the landmass size difference, because it's not, I can't remember like how much bigger you are than us, but it's not as much as you'd think compared to the amount of people you have compared to what we have. But we have a big bit of fuck all in the middle.
Get the fuck out of here. What is wrong with the United States? There's 24.13 million people in Australia. There are 36.2 million people in Canada.
Wow. I thought Canada would be up there in the hundreds.
New Zealand, they have 4.6 million.
Wow, not much.
The UK.
Mm-hmm.
65 million people. 65.6.
Whoa! Like you could put like 3-4 UKs in Australia.
Yeah. Well, and then like you've got the United States. 323.1 million people.
323. Fucking hell.
That's a shitload of people. That's such a big difference. Like, you can add all of those numbers up, and it's not even fucking close.
No, well, then look at like India and China, like billion.
Yeah, but fuck those. I'm just joking. I would never say that. Just joking. I'm just joking. No, that's true. That's true. And I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Amongst this, it just already makes me feel bad. I think looking over there will make me feel better. I'm not ready to feel better about how many people we have here. I'm like, I feel bad that like
it's still not that many. It's more the consumption of each place.
Like how many people in the entire European Union? Like everybody who belongs there.
That'd have to be
more than right.
No, probably maybe like the same as all America.
EU population.
I reckon it'd be pretty similar to America. I don't think it'd be up to the billion yet. Or is it?
No, it's 743 million.
Yeah, so it's still not up to the billion though. That's still not up to like what some single countries have.
South America's got 422.
See, I thought that would have been more.
Those those fuckers in Russia, there's only 144 million of them.
No, that's quite a bit then, compared to the rest of Europe. See, Russia is a huge part, pretty much, of Europe.
Yeah, well, that's Asia, man.
Eurasia.
Eurasia. Don't talk about me about my Asia like that. Asia has
we'll be Australasia very soon.
Billion.
Well, yeah, exactly right. Yeah.
Australasia?
Yeah. You seen or read 1984?
No, but I've played Risk.
Yeah,
so I know about Australia. Australasia.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I like Risk. Good game.
There's a shitload of people in London. 8.7 million people just in London. I didn't see them all. I saw a lot of them though, because I was right next to the fucking. I was right next to the fucking stadium right there in North London and Northwest London. What the fuck was it called?
There's 25 million just in Mexico City. I've been there, and there's 25 million in my entire country.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I want to know what Juarez's population is now that I'm back home.
Which one? Yours?
Yeah, it's right next door to us. It's 1.3 million people right next door.
Where was
right
that?
On the other, and that's Juarez, Mexico.
Okay. Oh, Juarez.
It's just that city there. Yeah.
Is that the hectic part?
That used to be the crazy part. Like, this is the population in 2010. This is right before shit went crazy. This, Juarez used to be the most dangerous city in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I know it.
Yeah, there was something like 1,700 murders per million in that city, and there's 1.3 million people there. So there were 1,700 murders, so a little over that. So there's like 2,000 almost murders there, and over 1,100 of them were like decapitations. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah,
people would come in and get tattooed and show me videos of like them being over in Juarez and seeing like the aftermath of a shooting, maybe the tail end of a shooting, the beginning of a shooting,
and blood, and
just
all kinds of
fucking
shit, yeah.
crazy, man. Like that is, I mean, it was real. It was real crazy.
Not just TV bullshit.
Yeah.
Crazy. So how far is that from you?
I can see it from if I go outside.
Really?
Yeah. We're one city basically.
That's awesome.
Where there's just a border. There's an international border that cuts us in half. The Juarez, El Paso, and Las Cruces is the largest international city area on the southern border. Actually, I think it's international border that we have because it's larger than anything we have in Canada as well.
Speaking of borders, is this fucking fence shit actually happening?
No, it's not actually happening. They can't get the money to happen.
No,
and there's a huge fucking wall already there. There's a wall there, and it doesn't do anything. There are more people leaving the United States than they're staying. Look at the news, people. Do your research.
No, you don't want to watch too much news over here. It'll fill your head full of shit. That's why I'd rather ask you.
Oh well, let's do a little Trump update for all you and your buddies because they're gonna listen to this shit. So ask me questions. What do you guys want to know about Trump?
Yeah, I don't know. I just follow him on Twitter, so I get his his personal fucking shit out there. It's fucking hilarious.
Well, his son's a retard.
Uh-huh.
Which is hilarious, and that's good. Nothing's really happening over here. Nothing's really changed.
No.
I think he's slowly realizing that holy fuck, he's got to be the president, and that gives him a lot more to do and not as much power as he thought. I'm really interested to see what happens in the future with the investigation on Trump as far as the Russia situation because of what his son came out and said. But other than that, I mean, I don't fucking know what's gonna happen. It's crazy.
The Trump,
it's just we're in the biggest TV show ever. Period. Like right now, we're in the biggest reality, and Trump feels like he's fucking untouchable.
Yeah,
he's got to. He feels like he's got the biggest dick in the world. He probably does, and he might have purchased it, but it probably gives him all that confidence to just act like a complete nutter ass,
swinging that dick around.
Yeah, just fucking swinging the hammer.
Oh, awesome! All right, one more before I leave you. I see that Boba Fett in the background there. You excited about the new Star Wars?
I'm pretty stoked on it. I'm pretty stoked on that. I'm pretty excited to see what exactly comes out of the rest of the story that I'm gonna latch onto because it. I get caught up in the story, but if you get too trapped into it, like real Star Wars nerds, you get really let down every once in a while, and you think that shit's fucked up. Whereas me, I just latch onto some kind of imagery, like the last one, the Rogue One. I love that fucking droid robot, the big gigantic thing. Yeah, I was like, dude, that guy's fucking gnarly. I was like, I like that. I like that everybody dies.
Yeah.
And I like the crazy dude who. what's his name? The black guy.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All very cool.
You come to kill me. That guy.
I watched them pretty much in the same way. I've got attachment from like watching the really old ones when I was young, and then I think I was like really young teenager when Phantom Menace come out, and I even loved that. So I've pretty much been a fan all the way through, and I like you said, I don't get too attached with the new ones. Just let them be what they are. They're just new Star Wars stories. Let it happen.
I have my moments where I get like really, really, really excited about shit, but like that was like I went to fucking Disneyland as a 30-year-old, and I was like, I'm gonna fucking check out Disneyland.
Yeah.
And Star Wars just happened to be like right around the corner, so like there were stormtroopers. So yeah, I nerded out then, but like I'm not gonna get all crazy about it to where like, I mean, yeah, like the three movies that I saw when I was a teenager that were coming up, like the new Star Wars movies, they're not as iconic as the last ones, but I didn't fucking hate them.
Yeah,
like there's so much hate for them now.
Nah, yeah, I'm not like
it's
that.
like cool. It's like cool to hate them.
Fuck yeah, fuck those. It's cool to like them now. Yeah. I'm like that with all movies now, like, because I hated so many movies for so long. Now I'm like, fuck it, they are what they are, you know. Like even the same with the new Alien, there's bits and pieces. You're like, why'd they do that and why'd they do that? But who cares? You know, they're just gonna make more, and I'm just gonna be happier to see more aliens. So whatever.
Yeah, I've learned more and more how to appreciate Tim Burton films in all aspects just over time. I think they have to like sit with you for a little while, and then you learn to appreciate them because they're really overwhelming when you're young.
Yeah.
You know, just like, oh shit, there's so much fucking going on, and it's so creepy and weird and such a different perspective. And then as you get older, you're like, man, this is super cool. And you can tell like like just that little bits of stuff has influenced the way I think. That back around to the beginning of the conversation that we were having, the tattoo that you were doing that we were talking about, your Skeksis tattoo, the movie tattoo that you're doing for the Dark Crystal, that movie is influential in my life. It was the first movie that I ever saw that had genocide mentioned in its plot as a plot device, where all of the Gelflings were murdered because of something or other. There was alien references in that movie. It was already something that was Jim Henson, so my family felt to let me get up. It was safe to let me get obsessed with it. So the imagery and the way everything is put together in that, and probably a lot of other things that Jim Henson made, really influenced like the way I kind of visualized as a child, the way I used my imagination. It was pretty interesting.
Definitely, man. Yeah, very cool. It's very cool. It's funny, you even like say Tim Burton, because like Planet of the Apes, that war is just about to come out.
Oh man,
he did his version of the Planet of the Apes back in the day, and that wasn't very well received. And now they're having another go at it, but it's not even like another go. His was the recreation, and now these guys are extending the story. So I've just gone and rewatched the two new ones, Rise and what's the other one, Dawn. So I'm pretty keen to see this new war. I think visually it's going to be awesome. Just a shitload of gorillas flying through, fighting and trying to take back a apocalyptic landscape.
I think I'm excited to see Andy Serkis work again. Like he seems to have the golden touch when it comes to a lot of this stuff. You know, he's doing the motion capture, and you know he did it for Snoke in the new Star Wars. He of course did it for Golem and all of these people, but he's becoming known as one of these guys who can really get a good performance through that. But the way he makes this chimp look in this movie is fucking incredible. I watched this little promo video for it where it's him talking with the motion capture suit on, and slowly it morphs into what's the chimp's name? What's his name?
Caesar.
Caesar. Yeah, it morphs into Caesar and him talking through Caesar's lips. Like it shows you how he's acting through this whole thing, and then like it's really his acting.
Yeah.
But it's just motion capture turning him into this chimp. Excellent. That's cool as fuck, demonstration. I love artwork like that because a lot of people don't appreciate that as artwork because it is so convincing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, it is absolutely in itself art. It's fucking cool. That's why I enjoy those ones. That's why like I can get not so caught up in the story, because visually my mind is just going, holy fuck, how did they do all this? And then, you know, they can spark all kinds of ideas for whatever you want to do later on.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think that was a good one, man. Movies.
Yeah, cheers.
Go check them
movies.
Go fill your brain full of books and movies and reference and all kinds of shit to get those brains happening.
Yeah, and if you've made it all the way through this, of course you probably already have subscribed. But if not, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and check us out on Twitter and all the social media stuff, and keep up with what we're doing. Good episode of The Tattooed Mind. Number 3 in the can. We're done.
Number 3. Catch y'all later. We'll see you at number 4 next week. Peace out, David.
All right. Peace.